And a good Friday morning to you, and welcome into Darren Donick and Chase here on ESPN 102.5 The Game. Elijah Campbell manning the board at our Hillside Medical Games Studios. Darren McFarland, Willie Donick. We thought the suit, Chase McCabe, was going to give it a full ride today. We thought we were getting him ready yesterday for a full show today. It's not going to happen. But I guess he's still going to be available. He's going to be in the bullpen and available anytime we want him, after a certain portion of the game. So we'll just, we'll utilize him soon, but just not now. Willie, how we doing?
All right. We're all just going to have to step up our game that much more until we get the big fella in here.
Yeah, I mean, once he's become a suit, we've come accustomed to that. We do longer. We do more long toss, so we're good. Our arms are good. We're ready to go.
We're stretched out.
We are stretched out. Jacksonville has no longer stretched out their search. I feel like they interviewed everybody, but they have finally narrowed their candidate down to one, and they have named Doug Peterson the next head coach. So there's two openings in the Titans division in the AFC South, and one has been filled. Doug Peterson, new head coach down in Jacksonville. What do you think?
He's got the ring.
He
That's
does.
the first thing that comes to mind.
Did he wear it to the interview?
Probably didn't need to, I would think. I have to say, when's the last I guess we all had our doubts, wonder, the unknown X factor, if you will, for Urban Meyer. Doug Marrone, seasoned vet that had been around the league several times but had never really had a huge run as a successful head coach. I'm trying to think of who was before Marrone. But, when's the last time you really felt like, I guess Jack Del Rio was there for a long time, but this guy comes in with credentials. I feel like he's coming in. He's got a quarterback that he thinks he can do something with. He's a great offensive mind, or at least he has been, for the long haul. You got Travis Etienne coming back. I think he sees a great opportunity there. So my first thought is, okay, Jags might have it together here.
Well, don't forget, he probably used the Carson Wentz, developing young quarterbacks. I'm sure he used that to his advantage. Yeah. I mean, look, we don't know what I still believe I'm not ready to punt. I said the Titans should tank to get Trevor Lawrence to have the elite quarterback because I believe he's going to be elite. It's obviously hasn't been shown in the first year, but I don't know how much you can chalk it up to the dumpster fire that is Jacksonville. Do you know how many games that franchise has lost in the last decade? Just take a wild stab.
Well, we know.
No. I mean, I know the number. What? Just take a guess. Just think about.
When you say the last decade, you're saying since
last 10 seasons. How many losses do they have?
Well, let's say 10 times 10 on average. So let's say about 100.
That's a good start, right? Good start. 119. Just think about that. That's almost 12 losses a season.
But you know what? If you're Doug Peterson, that doesn't deter you as much because in this league, everything is designed for teams like that to get good. You've got so many things going your way. You got the same amount of money to spend. You've been picking high. Your schedule's a little bit easier, although that's been blunted a little bit in the recent years since expansion and things like that. But I think that the Jaguars, at some point, you should be good. The Buccaneers were bad for decades. They were the laughing stock for a long, long time. And that was even before a salary cap. And eventually, they turned it around. So in the Jaguars, it's not like they've never won. They did have some good years in there. So
well, you have to go back.
I hope that they still struggle to get it together. But if I'm the Titans, I probably am sitting there going, well, they're probably going to be better. I can't count on them just being awful again.
How long has Shad Khan been the owner?
Not sure.
Because
it seems like 10 years or so.
Okay, that's what I'm.
Ish. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little less.
Remember when people were like, "Hey, when the Urban Meyer, Shaq Khan, he's shown he's willing to be patient with coaches. Has he really? Has he really shown that?" I just told you they've lost 119 games in 10 seasons. They've been a disaster since he's been the owner. For a guy that's got the deep pockets and everybody praised him being the owner, they have been an absolute tire fire since he's been their owner. Just a pile of garbage in the NFL. Just put them in there in the heap with the Detroit Lions franchise and, all the other ones we make fun of. The New York Jets. I mean, those franchises that year in and year out, most of the time, Cincinnati until they drafted Joe Burrow. And that's not really true, though. Andy Dalton did take them to some playoffs, so they weren't a dumpster fire with Andy Dalton. They just couldn't advance. They couldn't win a playoff game, but they weren't a dumpster fire. But that organization's been awful. By the way, did you mention Gus Bradley? As I was kind of multitasking when you were listing names. Did you say Gus Bradley?
I did not.
Yeah. He was the one before Marone, and if you remember, it was Mike Mularkey with his short stint the 1 year before Gus Bradley, who Mularkey went 2-14 the year he was the head coach. I think it's an interesting hire. I don't know what happened in Philadelphia. It is interesting to me, Willie. And I'm guilty of this, guilty as charged, because I've been saying for a good while, which is kind of why I laugh at this whole narrative in this market now. Everybody wants the elite quarterback. It's like, where have you been? Are you the NCAA? Did you just wake up from your slumber? I've been saying this for a long time. This is what you need. That's what you need to get there year in and year out, to give your best foot, the best opportunity. That's what you need. But, I don't know when you think about this with Peterson. I don't know what happened in Philadelphia. What I was getting at is, we say, like I said, I'm guilty. If you bring in Tom Brady and he wins the Super Bowl and he's 2 years and he bounces and retires and then you go back to crap, is it worth it? And we all go, yes. I'm guilty as charged. Yes, it's all worth it. Aaron Rodgers for a season or two. Who cares what it looks like afterwards? It is interesting that everybody has that mentality, but you would think organizations have that mentality too, right? Well, then why was Doug Peterson available? He won a Super Bowl. He won a Super Bowl. And how much longer did he get after that? What was it, 2 seasons? He's fired.
It's Philadelphia.
Right, I know, but that's what I'm saying, right? Like we all go, yes, just whatever it takes, win, and then we don't care what happens after that. Really? Well, tell coaches that, because how many coaches have we seen win it all, and then they're on the street 2-3 years later?
That's why I'm always saying I'm not signing up for signing.
I know
I'm
you're
not signing up for trading 3
I know.
first-round picks and stuff like that for the quarterback. I don't think you do that. It's not smart, and the Rams will find out. I mean, they are probably the most extreme team I've ever seen in terms of going all in on 1 year for the most part. I don't know if they'll just be bad next year, but there will be a steep decline for them. It's inevitable.
Oh, the day of reckoning will come, for sure. But the question is, what will the resume look like before the day of reckoning, right? Do they have rings? Do they have a ring? Do they have, again, got to the altar, got left, get the runner-up trophy, like last time? I don't know. We're about to find out here very soon in 9 days.
The Eagles won it without the huge investment in the one quarterback. Well, it was pretty unique circumstances
they thought they had
in which
Carson
they won it.
Wentz, remember? But
they drafted him, though.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. They thought they had. Remember, he was having the unbelievable year. It was like, oh my gosh, we got our franchise elite quarterback. This guy was going to be MVP, and he goes down for the season. Nick Foles comes in, does the rest, and takes them all to the Super Bowl and wins it. And then the rest is history on Carson Wentz. Never been the same. And who knows if he'll even be back in this division next year. I mean, I suspect Indianapolis is stuck, probably just like the Titans are stuck. So we shall see. I think it's actually a good hire, though. I really do. I don't know. It's hard to believe that anybody can really turn the Jags around, but it's really going to depend on Trevor Lawrence, right? What is he? What is he? Is he going to emerge as the number one pick overall and be the next great? He's going to join the class that we can name right now. Is he going to join Joe Burrow and we believe Justin Herbert, even though he hasn't won a playoff game, and those young quarterbacks that are going to take the mantle now that these old guys, the old Hall of Famers, are moving on? They're going out to pasture? I don't know. But if he is, then I suspect even the Jags, a bad organization, because all you need is that guy. Then you can get things turned around. But right now, we don't know. I still believe he is, but I don't know. It was impossible to tell this year, right? I mean, I know, one, you probably were watching very many Jacksonville games, but two, there just wasn't a whole lot there because they were just an absolute disaster. So we shall see. We'll come back. John Glennon covers the Titans. We'll talk about the offseason, something he just wrote. We'll get into all that on the other side as you listen to Darren, Donick, and Chase, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Inside knowledge on the Titans.
Todd Downey's got his notepad out right now, just writing things down.
Inside knowledge on the Predators.
They can go right into the forecheck, and boom, you get a beautiful goal from Colton Sissons.
And then there's a team in Knoxville.
How excited should Tennessee fans be by what they've seen from Josh Heupel in year one?
Wake up and hang out with Robbie and Rex Road. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10. Brought to you by Little Guys Movers on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and The Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
Winter's a bad time for your furnace to go out, but it's never a bad time to call Lee Company. Our heating and air conditioning pros are available 24/7. No heat? Don't wait. Call Lee Company now at 615-567-1000. Our expert technicians will diagnose the issue and fix it right the first time. When you're cold, you need someone you can count on to bring the heat. Call Lee Company now at 615-567-1000 or visit leecompany.com.
Professional quilt maker Dana Balliard once said, "There are no rules in quilting, and if you think that there are, then it's time you try breaking a few." Now, I like that type of creative entrepreneurial spirit, and that's why I do my adult beverage trading at Red Spirits and Wine. It's not just a great selection of distilled spirits, single-barrel Red Select whiskeys, great wines from around the world, and awesome craft beers, but it's more the way the folks at Red just go about their business. At Red, they keep it interesting and fun. The Cracker Jack crew makes you feel welcome after a hard day on the trail, never coming off like some of them snooty-nosed, big-talking whoop-de-doos. At Red, it's always square dealing with the best in service, selection, and prices. Plus, Red is locally owned by real folks, not some totally faceless corporation. There's no doubt in my mind, Red is my kind of place. Red Spirits and Wine, Highway 70 South and Old Hickory Boulevard. And check them out on Facebook, Instagram, and at redspirits.com.
Hey everybody, Robbie Stanley here to tell you about my friends at Jasper's as the neighborhood bar and restaurant to catch the next Preds game. Jasper's is located on West End Avenue and offers a fun atmosphere with a game room, TVs, and a large bar and lounge area. Plus they offer free parking. That's right, free parking on West End, and offer specials for every Preds game day, including $10 smash burgers and $3 bottled domestics. So come on down to Jasper's next game day for happy hour every weekday from 4 to 6 p.m. and 2-for-1 beers all day on Sundays. Just tell them that Robbie Stanley sent you.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe here to tell you about Dr. Kelly Rice Family Cosmetic and Dental Sleep Medicine. Dr. Rice, listen, we all have cavities, but what's the best way to try and keep them from happening?
Cavities are like any other health condition. You don't really know you have one until it gets bad. Recently, I saw a patient for treatment that they had been putting off. Something that could have been simple to fix 6 months ago turned out to need a root canal and a crown. Postponing treatment costs more and takes time away from work.
Nobody wants a root canal, so you're right. Regular checkups are very important.
Well, we do things differently. I want to let people know that if they're afraid of pain or worried about the cost, they are not alone. Don't be embarrassed. We understand. Give us a call at 615-373-4488. That's KellyERice.com.
Dr. Kelly Rice Family Cosmetic and Dental Sleep Medicine. If you don't have dental insurance, no problem. Be sure to join their membership club. Just visit KellyERice.com or call 615-373-4488 now to schedule your cleaning and checkup. You'll certainly be glad you did.
This is Mikhail Kralland, and this is Nashville.
The rebound shoveled in by Mikhail Kralland, and the Predators have tied it up on the power play.
This is the flagship of the Nashville Predators Radio Network. ESPN 102.5, The Game.
If you've missed any of today's show, just search Darren, Donick, and Chase on Apple, Spotify, or on your favorite podcast platform.
Back here on Darren, Donick, and Chase on this Friday, presented by Curation CBD products, curated for life. You just made the list. Coming up at high noon, tickets to see Bon Jovi at Bridgestone Arena on April 30th. That's what's at stake, but you're going to have to call in and participate. He's John Glennon at Glennon Sports on Twitter. Give him a follow. He covers the Titans for SI.com. He now joins us. John, you just recently wrote an article about the headline, Derrick Henry shows signs of decline even before the injury. Tell everybody about it.
Well, yes, that was one that clearly went over well with the great mass of Titans fans. But what I'm saying basically, or what I'm kind of analyzing in the article basically, is that this is not a huge fall from grace for Derrick Henry, but what I was taking a look at was there a drop at all from the unbelievable level that Derrick Henry showed in 2019 and 2020 to what he showed in those first 8 games of 2021? And in 3 specific areas, I did see evidence that there was, Derrick Henry was not at quite the same level. Now, that's a relative term, because he was so good in 2019 and 2020. But kind of in 3 areas, like yards after contact was down, what is known by Pro Football Focus as an elusive rating, that was down, and rushing yards over expected, as it's tracked by Next Gen Stats. All of those were down, from the top 2 years. So you just wonder, I think, when you have a back like Derrick Henry, who's carried so many times over the years, you just kind of wonder when wear and tear might start to kick in, and whether, if the Titans see that, agree with that, and maybe tweak the offense a little bit moving forward and say, we can't give that same amount of carries to Derrick Henry going forward. So just kind of raising questions, showing some evidence as well, and we'll see where it goes from there.
What do you think is the biggest contributing factor? Is it the workload that he had in the 2,000-yard season? Is it the Jones fracture? Is it, getting older? I mean, where would you start? Where would you begin with if that were the case? Because I've brought up on the show many times here lately that and other people have said the same thing since I brought it up on the show. Eddie George was not the same after the turf toe. I mean, he played that entire season. He played through it, but he was never the same. And I thought Eddie George, it was impossible. That guy was just a freak of nature, and he was. But he was never the same. So it can happen to even people you think it can't happen to. So with that being said, where do you, if you had to start somewhere, where would you start as maybe you think it would contribute to that to the most?
Yeah, well, you have to wonder, I think, when we look at what the Derrick Henry injury was that Jones fracture of the foot. And one possibility for that is, wear and tear, continued use. And that makes sense considering, A, the incredible number of carries that Derrick Henry had, and B, the fact that he is a very big man, 6'3", 247 pounds, so he's putting a lot of stress on that foot time after time after time. So, Mike Vrabel said at the end of the year he did not believe that the injury was related to wear and tear. Again, I guess it's they didn't say necessarily what they thought was the reason for that injury, but I think it's fair to at least question whether that played a part. And again, that's when you look at, okay, was that hampering him slowly, as the season went on, even before it became a complete break and was diagnosed at the end of that Indianapolis game. And again, I think this question comes with Derrick Henry and with any of the backs, that we've seen over the years. You mentioned Eddie George, any of those backs that have just huge amounts of carry year after year, there's always that question in the back of your mind of saying, okay, when do things start to slide a little? When does all that wear and tear and all the hits start to show? And so far we have seen Derrick Henry be, virtually indestructible. Now all of a sudden he's coming back from that injury, and not only do you wonder, okay, is he going to be back to the same level of Derrick Henry? But, if it was all that wear and tear that contributed to the injury, can you have Derrick Henry come back and carry 25 times a game going forward again?
How do you think they feel about it over there? Do you think that there will be any discussion behind closed doors that, hey, we got to lighten up the workload, which, maybe that entails, keeping the guys that carried the freight while he was out. Maybe that you figure out a way to keep Foreman around. You figure out a way to keep Hilliard around. Guys that can take some of the workload off. Do you think? How do you think those discussions, or do you think that this is even something they're even thinking about? Like, we all know he didn't look the same in the Cincinnati game, but, that's literally the first game back. And we had TJ Hushmanzada on the Friday before that game and said, I hope, I know you guys are excited, but, I got a close friend that plays in the league that had the same exact injury. Took him 8 months to get back. So,
yeah.
I wonder, what do you think their mentality is behind closed doors?
I'm sure they're, taking a look at the continued progress. As you say, when he came back for that playoff game, he was still running with, a steel plate in his foot and screws in that foot as well. So, even Derrick Henry, as quick as he bounces back from things and what an incredible workout warrior he is, I still think it was going to take a few games before he felt comfortable and felt completely confident again. We've all heard athletes over the years talk about, having to kind of break through that wall of, maybe it's even in the back of their minds, worrying about that injury, worrying in Derrick Henry's case, maybe, hey, when I plant this foot, is everything going to be fine? Am I going to be feeling a little bit of pain? Is there going to be any hesitation on my part? That kind of thing. So, I'm sure the Titans are monitoring that continued rehab, but I am sure that they would love, and it's going to be tough to do, I would think, but I'm sure they would love to keep Deontay Foreman, for instance. I mean, here's a guy with a style similar to Derrick Henry who fit well in that scheme. You just wonder if there's another team out there saying, hey, we run maybe, somewhat type of a similar scheme. I bet Deontay Foreman could do well here. And a team with more cap money that says, hey, the Titans can give you X amount of money and pay you to be a backup to Derrick Henry. Or, hey, maybe you can come here, get more money, and be a featured player. And I'm sure, understandably, that might be a tempting scenario for Deontay Foreman.
We're talking to John Glennon. He's got some really good numbers on SI.com on some of the slight declines that we've seen in Derrick Henry's games before he had the injury. So that's, I think, the important thing to keep in mind as we try to break this down is everything in your article, John, has to do with things that happened before the injury. Then everything that's going on going forward is going to be dealing with both, right? The wear and tear plus just coming back from the injury that kept him out. So I'm reminded a little bit, John, of the history here. Going back to Eddie George. He had the 400 carry season. The following year, in 2001, he got the turf toe, and he was never the same. He rebounded to be a decent back, but the Titans, you look back on it, they sort of hedged their bets. They drafted Chris Brown. They brought Chris Brown in, and there was a time where Chris Brown was an effective, if nothing else, change of pace with Eddie George. I'm reminded of that, but as you just sort of mentioned, the salary cap kind of dictates your budget there.
Yeah, it really does, and this is, at this point anyway, it's a bit of a tight situation for the Titans. They're actually, I believe, technically a little bit over the cap right now. They're going to have to get down, and we may well see some cap casualties. So, the chances of re-signing a guy like Foreman will depend probably on, just how much they get below the cap. But yeah, I think, as I said, any of these backs, whether it's Derrick Henry or Eddie George or even back in the day an Eric Dickerson or someone like that, you just wonder as well as they are performing, at some point, is there going to be that number that gets hit in terms of carries, in terms of yardage, in terms of wear and tear, where things are going to start to slide a little bit. Now, and again, and I pointed these things out in the article as well, I'm not talking about some massive fall from grace for Derrick Henry. It's a relative term. Derrick Henry, was leading the league in rushing, when he got hurt after 8 games and continued to lead the league for, a number of weeks after that. So we're not talking about the end of the line, for Derrick Henry, certainly. And I think another fair question that is asked, and should be mentioned here too, is that Derrick Henry traditionally picks up steam and the numbers improve in that second half of the season as well. So that should be factored in also. The fact that, maybe we weren't looking at vintage Derrick Henry in games 1 through 8, that we should, also pay attention to what he traditionally does in the latter half of the year as well. But
that's a really interesting point that I hadn't thought of when I read your article, John,
Sure.
Because another thing that I picked up on was if you're in the argument of just look, the history of the league suggests that there is depreciation for almost all backs who have that kind of workload over time. It's natural. This isn't anything new, and it's nothing against Derrick Henry. What you're hoping for is that Derrick Henry is the special guy who's an exception, who can handle that kind of workload. But some of the stats you had pointed out that in 2019, he actually scored higher in some of those analytical categories than he did in 2020.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah, no doubt about it. Now, yeah, to what you were saying also about the, or as I was saying earlier about the second half of the season, I kind of went back and looked a little bit at the numbers, comparing maybe games 1 through 8 in both those seasons previous to the 2021 season as well. And what it looked like to me, I did see in terms of like a rushing yards over expectation, which traditionally has been a great stat for Derrick Henry. I did see in that category that he did take a big leap in the second half of the season in both 2019 and 2020. So maybe from that standpoint, you say, okay, maybe we say he was just picking up steam. But the two other categories I looked at, which were yards after contact and kind of that elusive rating, which is tracked by Pro Football Focus, there wasn't a jump in those categories in the second half of the season in either of those. So, it was kind of a mixed bag. And as you say, yeah, some of the numbers were down a little bit 2019 to 2020 as well. It's in some ways you can compare it a little bit, to the quarterback situation, to Ryan Tannehill, because his numbers were spectacular in 2019. They were very good in 2020, but not quite as good. And of course, we saw him struggle in 2021. And again, Derrick Henry's decline, if you want to say that, is nowhere near what we saw from Ryan Tannehill. So it's just, as I said, with any running back like that, you always have to ask that question: when is it too much? And are we starting to see that from Derrick Henry, or is it just a fluke and everything's going to be fine once he comes back and feels confident, after the foot injury as well?
Well, John, I think it's great work by you. If people listen to this show, they know I've been talking about this for a long time. It would be wise for the Titans to not ignore the history of workload for running backs. It's just right there, plain as day. And so it is a huge issue. So I'm glad you broke it down. Really good stuff. Thanks for coming on with us today.
Okay, sure. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, John Glennon. SI.com is where you can take a closer look at these numbers. Just look at him on Twitter, Glennon Sports, and you'll see the article, SI.com, on Henry's workload. Before the injury, there was a slight decline in some of the analytics. Still a brilliant running back, no question about it, but a tick down. But a lot of things that we discussed that are factors. I want to talk to Darren about that a little bit more when we come back, because I think this is a massive, massive issue that's being overshadowed right now with salary cap stuff, the quarterback stuff. But really, Derrick Henry is right at the center of everything you do. Stay tuned. We're coming back with more here on Darren, Donick, and Chase.
Every Friday at 8:30 on Robbie and Rexo, we talk with the legend, Terry Chris, about all things Nashville Predators, presented by Copper Branch on ESPN 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Willie Donick here for Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. The cold winds of winter are here, and that means it's a great time to replace those old, drafty windows. Pella is the leader in the industry for top-quality window and door products. But Pella Windows and Doors are also affordable, extremely affordable. Pella has payment plans less than $95 a month to replace your windows. So, I suggest you purchase your windows and doors from the experts at Pella of Nashville. Go to PellaofNashville.com.
Need cash for that home improvement or want to finally be credit card debt free? How does a check for 80 or 90 grand sound right now? Loan Pronto can do it for you, whether you have a VA loan or a conventional loan. They're helping local homeowners convert their home equity into cash with zero closing costs. Willie Donick here. Listen, your home value is up. Let Loan Pronto tap that equity and get you the cash you need. Pay off high interest loans. Start that home remodeling project. Veteran homeowners are really loving this because with a VA loan, you can tap 100% of your home's equity. That's a ton of cash. Loan Pronto's all-digital process makes it fast and easy. They are doing loans with APRs in the twos. And if you call now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call now to see what your options are. Loan Pronto, 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. That's 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. Not all loans apply.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe here to tell you about Dr. Kelly Rice Family Cosmetic and Dental Sleep Medicine. Dr. Rice, listen, we all have cavities, but what's the best way to try and keep them from happening?
Cavities are like any other health condition. You don't really know you have one until it gets bad. Recently, I saw a patient for treatment that they had been putting off. Something that could have been simple to fix 6 months ago turned out to need a root canal and a crown. Postponing treatment costs more and takes time away from work.
Nobody wants a root canal, so you're right. Regular checkups are very important.
Well, we do things differently. I want to let people know that if they're afraid of pain or worried about the cost, they are not alone. Don't be embarrassed. We understand. Give us a call at 615-373-4488. That's kellyerice.com.
Dr. Kelly Rice Family Cosmetic and Dental Sleep Medicine. If you don't have dental insurance, no problem. Be sure to join their membership club. Just visit kellyerice.com or call 615-373-4488 now to schedule your cleaning and checkup. You'll certainly be glad you did.
You probably wouldn't leave thousands of dollars on the table at a diner. Why leave thousands on the table with your tax return? Jackson Hewitt will help make sure you don't. This year, there are thousands of dollars worth of new tax credits. Your Jackson Hewitt Tax Pro will help you track down every last one, so you get your biggest refund guaranteed. Don't leave thousands on the table this year. Discover thousands of dollars in tax credits instead.
Check, please.
Learn more at jacksonhewitt.com.
Gentlemen, now you can find the best brands and fits for you without even trying. Just follow these easy instructions. Step 1, shop a personalized store that does all the work for you by customizing a selection for your taste and body. Step 2, level up your closet with the best brands and fits with little to no effort. Not trying has never looked so good. Introducing Stitch Fix Freestyle, your personalized store. We're so you.
Saturday.
Pippen drives around and scores. Give him the Crockett and one.
Vanderbilt returns home to take on LSU at Memorial Gym. Coverage begins at 4:30 on 93.3 Classic Hits and the Classic Hits app.
Hey, this is Jordan Rogers, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Back here on Darren, Donick, and Chase, ESPN 102.5 The Game. Good discussion with John Glennon. With all of the hoopla of the quarterback situation with the Titans, Ryan Tannehill's poor performance in the game against the Bengals, what to do about it, why did they lose, all the salary cap issues, Harold Landry. In my opinion, what's been lost in the shuffle is this discussion we're about to have, and just we're having with John Glennon, about managing the workload of Derrick Henry. Darren, you know, going back a couple years, I've been tracking this. And when Derrick Henry last year had 378 carries, coming off of a year where he had 303, but then had 3 playoff games as well, that I was concerned about this. True?
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure.
Yeah, to the point where I was probably driving you guys crazy, and you guys started to probably think I was nuts going into this year. But John's question about did the stress fracture happen because of workload? There's really no way to answer that question, but I don't think you can definitively say the answer is no connection. Am I wrong about that? I'm no doctor or anything like that, but I think you can say I don't know, but I don't think you can say no, which was sort of Mike Vrabel's defiant answer. You know, he did kind of hedge it and say, I've not had that impression from any doctor. But I think when you really look back on it, you do have to wonder, right? And the thing is, there's nothing you can do about it. You can't cry over spilled milk. They made their decisions, and they rode the horse because they sort of had to. We know the team was struggling so badly with injuries and issues in the first half that they had to turn to him. So I didn't blame them for doing it. But looking back on it, I do think they may have paid a price.
Well, I think it's an impossible task. I don't think anybody is at fault. I don't think there's anybody to blame because what do you do? Just think about it. Derrick Henry is a special running back. He is the best running back in the league, and he helps you win football games. He is critical to your success, and you need him. And at times, he took over games. So what do you do? I mean, honestly, like if you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, right?
No question.
If you take him out of the game and you tell people, hey, we're trying to preserve this guy, people are going to go nuts. I mean, they're going to go absolutely nuts.
Julio Jones was hurt. A.J. Brown was hurt. Bud Dupree was hurt. The defense had still not found its groove. The offensive line had all kinds of problems. Taylor Lewan was struggling. He missed some time. So what else did they have to keep them afloat in the first half of the season? They had Derrick Henry. So they may well have gone into the season thinking, you know what, if perfect world here, we got Julio Jones, maybe let's give it to him a few less times per game. But that ended up being a choice that they didn't have. So in retrospect, they may have planned to do this, to ease the workload, but they didn't have the luxury of doing it. I think that's a theory that might have some merit there.
I don't think you ever – when do you ever really have the luxury unless you're a team that was like the Patriots team and was it the 2007 team?
Yeah.
And you're winning games 48-7 every week and you're cruising and you're destroying everybody, or like the Chiefs have been a couple years ago. I mean, then you can sit him down. But
I think they thought they had a better defense on paper. I think they thought they had a better threat with Julio Jones out there in theory. And I think they hoped that maybe that would happen. Remember, Trent Dilfer, about a year ago at this time, when we asked the question about the workload, he said, yeah, I would try to shave off 75 carries off of his workload. And I said to myself, you know, that's a pretty good goal to try to have. Keep the carries around 300 and not get up into that dangerous workload that history tells you costs you almost every time. It's not like, hey, half the time when a guy has 370 carries, he drops off. No, it's almost every time. So if they ignored that, they were wrong. So I think they may have had a plan, but when you go into the week and, okay, we don't have A.J. Brown, we don't have Julio Jones, we got offensive line issues, what do you think we're going to do? You know, that game in Seattle, you know, when they were in trouble, Derrick Henry bailed him out with the big run, got him back in the game. You know, you can go right down the list. You know, against the Jets where they struggled, they lost. They didn't have A.J. Brown or Julio Jones in the lineup at all. 33 carries. They leaned on him. So, like, what choice did they have when you got down to it? So you got all the best laid plans, but when you get into battle, you had to go to what you had.
Right. How do you pick and choose the 75 carries that you shave off?
It's hard.
What if those 75 carries that you chose to shave off are the important runs?
Oh, and how about this? Maybe they planned on Darrington Evans maybe having a few of those carries. Of course, he gets hurt in the second preseason game.
Who?
Well, you know what I'm talking about. I know it's easy to make fun of it now, but you have a plan in the offseason. You used a pretty high draft pick on this guy. So maybe you thought you could get some mileage out of that. That went out the window. That wasn't an option after the second preseason game. So
correct.
Now the only thing that I would say would be could they have lessened the load late in the Kansas City game where they had the game in hand? I brought that up on Monday after that game. He ended up with 29 carries. I think they were trying to get him to 100 yards. I think they were thinking maybe he'll bust a big one here and he'll be well on his way to another 2,000-yard season. He had 100 yards in 5 straight games at that point, and he took a beating in that game. Then the next week, he got hurt early in the game, the very first possession, if I remember, and played the entire game, a game that goes to overtime, and he had 28 carries. Now, I have no idea. Nobody's really come out. They wouldn't tell us if they did know. But we'll never know. Did the injury get worse after he first started feeling it and then decided to come back in the game? It was his least effective game of the season by far. 28 carries for 68 yards. He was clearly bothered by that. And yet, they kept going to him. Did that contribute to the degree of the problem? This is what we'll never know.
Again, then there's you. What if you don't? And then you don't. You might not win the game. I mean, again, you're what are you sacrificing? You may be sacrificing a lot of stats that we've talked about. Huge runs by him, which ultimately resulted in wins for them. I mean, what are you sacrificing? I'll give you. It's not an apples to apples. Just again, my little fishbowl world, my little tiny world. Just trying to use it as a comparison because I do think it's easier said than done. I understand that it's not easy. I've done that. I've done that with our kids and trying to preserve arms. And you know what? We've lost some really tough games. And I look back and I go, you know what? I probably should have rode the hot hand, and I should have.
It's a great. I think it's a good analogy.
I feel like it would have been a different result, and I'm going to take blame. I feel like I cost us the game because
but you're looking at the long-term health.
To preserve.
Yeah, you're looking at the long term.
I realize. I think I just cost us the game because if I ride the hot hand, I think the results would have been different.
I think that's a really interesting thought, and I think managers in Major League Baseball, when you play 162 games, often are faced with that. Hey, I've used this reliever. He has been on fire, but I've used him 3 games in a row, man. I can't come back with him. I've got to sit this one out. But, man, I'd love to have him come in and face this left-hander.
But it wasn't even, like, overused. It's not like I was teetering on, hey, you're like, what? You're out of control. It's none of that. It's just, like, preserving him, whether it's, hey, I feel like we can win this game, and then we've got another game, the championship game. Hey, you got to work your rotate. You got to figure out what arms you'll have.
But you get in the thick of the battle. You get in the thick of the battle, and you're forced to make that decision one way or the other.
And so it's not easy. And oh, by the way, it's an inexact science about I feel like they've tried to preserve Julio Jones. Guess what? It didn't change anything. It really didn't. Like them preserving Julio Jones to like give him more time. It didn't really change anything. Like they preserve. So it's inexact.
That is a weird one. You could argue that maybe, and these are all again questions that you can't know the answer one way or the other. You just try to make the best decision you can. Maybe they avoided a season-ending surgery or something if they had really pushed the envelope early in the season. We don't know. Because he did play his best. I don't know if it was his best. His best was early in the season against Seattle. I guess you'd say it was best Julio Jones type of game. But he did have a couple of nice games at the very, very end that you were glad he was out there as opposed to not being out there at all. But you're right. These are all very tough decisions that you have to make that there are no right or wrong answers for.
I'm telling you, we don't know either way. I don't know. It's just I'm trying to be honest. Like my gut feeling, thinking about it later, like did I do the right thing? If the Titans lose it, I'm telling you, Mike Vrabel will be doing the same thing. There's not a doubt in my mind. He would be going, Did I cost us the game by taking Derrick Henry out, trying to preserve him? We ended up losing that game. Was it because of my decision? I mean, that will happen. And, oh, by the way, then he might get questioned about it too. And he may have to talk about it. At least I don't get questioned. I don't have to do a press conference, right? It's not easy. It's easier said than done. I understand the premise. I understand why you would have those thoughts. But in the end, like, where do you go about trying to slice up that pie? All right, we'll come back. We'll wrap up the first hour of Darren, Donick, and Chase next.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Few slick spots out there potentially for the late morning, so easy on the roads. Otherwise, a cold and cloudy day with a high temperature of only 33 degrees.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Hey, Darren McFarland here, and I want to talk to you about my friends at Creation CBD. You hear me talk about them every single day because they present Darren, Donick, and Chase, and we are proud to be associated with them and happy about it. And if you have aches and pains, on your body, whether it's from working out, being active, getting older, and you're looking for a solution, well, I've got it. Creation CBD. Creation means healing, and that says a lot. Creation is locally and organically sourced CBD products right here in Middle Tennessee. From seed to final sale, Creation is passionate about providing quality products for everyday use, including your pets. And you've heard me tell this story. Our female German Shepherd has had seizures for over 3 years, and lots of them. No matter how many pills a day she was on, the vet visits, nothing changed. But since putting her on the pet tincture, everything has changed. The seizures have stopped, she's lost weight, and she's a dog again. Right now, Creation CBD has got a special offer for DDC listeners. Go to CreationCompany.com, get 25% off your order by using the code DDC25 at checkout. DDC25 at checkout for 25% off your Creation CBD products. It's Creation CBD, curated for life.
Genesis Diamonds has everything you need to create the perfect Valentine's experience. A romantic gift, some fresh flowers, chocolates, and dinner out on us. That's right. Genesis has put together the ultimate Valentine's package. When you buy any piece of jewelry for just $99 or more, we'll give you a bouquet of flowers from Jenny's Flowers, some yummy chocolates, and a gift card for dinner at STK Steakhouse. At Genesis, love and romance are what we do best. So we've created this amazing one-stop offer so you can spend quality time with the one you love this Valentine's. We've pulled together some wonderful Valentine gift ideas as well. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, bands, affordable, timeless gifts she can enjoy for years. So bring the sparkle and the romance with one-stop shopping at Genesis. Spend just $99 or more with us and get the flowers, the chocolates, and a gift card for dinner as our gift. Happy Valentine's Day from Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. Limited quantity. See store for details. If you're on the job day in and day out, you know living with pain in your knees, hips, back, or shoulders is miserable. The good news, QC Kinetics gets it. They understand guys like you.
They don't have the luxury of taking time off. They want to keep working. We are built for those guys that want to keep working and want to stay active. So the vast majority of who we see are the blue-collar guys like me and you.
QC Kinetics uses biologic therapies, just like pro athletes have used for years, to get you lasting pain relief with no surgery.
I want you to continue working. I want you to continue exercising. The joints are made to be moved.
The treatments at QC Kinetics are fast and non-invasive.
It's not a lot of time commitment on your part. There is no downtime or recovery time. You don't need short-term disability with what we do. We want to keep you active.
Call QC Kinetics now to set up your free no-obligation consultation. Learn how you can get real pain relief.
Call QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024. QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024.
Meshing journalism.
They are 2 scores behind you. The math says that increases your chances of winning.
With sports fandom.
I stayed up till 1:30 in the morning, just emotionally numb from Titans and Packers.
And sarcasm.
You guys are the worst.
Robbie Stanley and Joe Rexrode are Robbie and Rexrode. No duh. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10. Brought to you by Little Guys Movers on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Interact with Darren, Donick, and Chase. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
We'll talk to a legal expert who is a contributor for The Athletic to start the second hour. Looking forward to that. With the whole Brian Flores mess. By the way, everybody involved that he named and called out, they have vehemently denied, like to the hilt, right? They have gone to the top of the mountain and screamed, "We are innocent. We did not do any of that." Well, I got news for everybody involved. Somebody's lying.
Two sides to every story.
Yeah, but somebody's lying.
Sliced bread.
Yeah, somebody's lying because there's no way everybody's innocent. So
yeah,
it is amazing. The Giants, the Dolphins, the Broncos. This is defamatory. Which I'm going to ask that word because yesterday, I don't remember who we were talking to. Maybe it was Elliot was saying that that word typically means I'm going to sue you. When that word is thrown out there. And it seems like everybody's throwing that word back at Flores. So I don't know where this is going, but it is a hot mess, and it has just been interesting to see the reaction from everybody. I don't know what. Look, we got our proof. We did everything the right way. Like, really? Like the Giants thing. Wasn't that their response is, what are you talking about? We were still interviewing people. We hadn't made any decision. So let me just get this straight. Bill Belichick did he go, get some cards read? Did he get his palm read? Like, what? How did he know? So you had made a decision, but yet he's texting, a coach saying, "Hey, congratulations." Really? Like, you expect me to believe that? That seems like a bit of a stretch. No, you had not made a decision. You were still going through the process, and we don't know why Bill Belichick did that, really. So he just made it up? He just poof? Does he have the book from Back to the Future? Does he have that? He knows?
I believe that was Back to the Future 2.
Oh, that was it? Really?
Yeah,
that was
when
2?
They had the book, yeah.
Okay.
That book was pretty key.
It was.
Pretty key.
Yeah,
maybe he had the book. I don't know. Maybe he likes Michael J. Fox.
I'd love to have that book.
Yeah.
Man. I wouldn't have picked Kansas City and the Rams.
Speaking of trying
to
know the future, I do have one more question for you on the Derrick Henry front before we move on to our next guest. So if you're Mike Vrabel, you're sitting there this year, and you're making your plan, knowing you got all kinds of salary cap gymnastics. And that's even setting aside if you want to do the Jared Stillman, rearrange everything and try to make a play for Aaron Rodgers, okay? He's even suggesting yesterday that, if the fans speak up and squawk loud enough, then maybe they'll try to do it. He was asking that question. So, they're going down a rabbit hole there, which I still don't think is going to happen. I'm still working in the world that they're coming back with basically the same group. So to me, this is a very important question, is what's your plan? As the Titans saw that Eddie George was not quite the same back, they had Robert Holcomb. They ended up drafting Chris Brown, and they had a change of pace ready. And arguably those guys were quicker, faster than Eddie George at that stage of his career, even though Eddie George still grinded his way to some production in 2002, 2003. They had those other guys ready. We've talked about Foreman, and obviously Hilliard was excellent as well. But in the budget, can they fit? Did those guys maybe earn a contract from somebody? We know that teams don't really pay running backs, but I wonder how easy it would be, even if you wanted to keep those guys, with all the other decisions they have to make.
All I will say to you is, one, neither one of us have to do what John Robinson has to do, or the other 31 GMs besides John Robinson in the NFL have to do with a cap. But I will tell you this. Willie, it's just like the same thing I say to you about injuries. They all have to do this. Like, they're all going to play next year. They'll all have rosters, and all of them are going to have to make tough decisions. It's not just the Titans. The Green Bay Packers are $50 million over the cap. Over the cap. $50 million. The New Orleans Saints are $74 million.
Sure.
Over the cap.
Right. So I know where
you're
going.
The Titans are under the cap.
Yeah,
they all have to do this stuff.
Yes,
like, this is not like, oh, decisions. My gosh.
So my question is, as you make these decisions, is it your belief that you can enter the season next year with an expectation of Derrick Henry being Derrick Henry? That to me is a very,
question.
very big question. You have to answer that in your mind before you make these decisions. I heard Joe say you proceed next year as if he's still the guy.
I agree with that. 100%. 100%. We have to be
But is it
shown
realistic?
Otherwise.
Is that realistic? I know how much we believe in Derrick Henry. Is it realistic that he could be Derrick Henry again next year?
You're asking
the top
me
level?
If I believe it's realistic that an elite player can be different than everybody else? Yes, because he's not a Jag.
History tells you no.
Okay, I know you're going to point out history, and
listen,
history is on your side.
History tells you no. So I think it would be wise to have that plan B ready to go. The problem is, how much money do you have to address plan B? You've made this argument many times in the past about the backup quarterback. Everybody would love to have a good, experienced backup quarterback ready to go if needed. But the budget sometimes tells you, and the availability tells you, not every team can have that. So where is that on the priority list when you have Landry? You got your offensive line. You've got you've got any number of other things you've got to address.
I think it's got to be up there. Deontay Foreman was a great story, and we had him on the show. He was awesome to talk to. I'm rooting for him to come back. But it's not like Deontay Foreman, that second half of the season, he's going to break the bank. I mean, come on. Let's not get the guy was on the streets, okay, and he had a great second half filling in for Derrick Henry. It's not like the Brinks truck is, going to his driveway. I hope he turns out to be a great success story, and I hope that he stays here and he continues to provide much-needed help for Derrick Henry when he's not in there running the football. I hope that's the case. They can afford Deontay Foreman. For all the people like, I don't know how you're going to bring him. He's not going to break the bank. What is Foreman going to get? The running backs we already know are undervalued, underpaid, undervalued. That's the cream of the crop ones. A guy like Deontay Foreman who was on the street in the middle of the season, you think all of a sudden now he's going to break the bank? No. I think to your point, he's a priority, and you figure out a way to get him back, period. And by the way, he probably feels something for this organization for giving him another chance, right? And he knows people. He probably had a lot of fun this season, developed relationships. I suspect it may be a little bit easier than everybody thinks. All right, we'll come back. We'll start the second hour talking a little legal action with Alicia Jessup, who is a contributor for The Athletic, also a professor at Pepperdine. We'll talk to her next here on Darren, Donick, and Chase, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
The National Wild Turkey Federation's 46th Annual Convention and Sports Show is February 16th through the 20th at Gaylord Opryland Resort and Convention Center. Celebrate a year of conservation success with the National Wild Turkey Federation members, volunteers, and partners. You can expect the same great nightly events, quality entertainment in the watering hole, and the latest gear from more than 350 companies featured in their exhibit hall. For more info, go to nwtf.org.
Hey guys, it's the new year. Are you still struggling with erectile dysfunction? I've yet to meet anyone that enjoys timing those intimate moments around a pill. Well, now you don't have to. The advanced wave technology at Hillside Medical has been shown by Cambridge University and the Cleveland Clinic to restore and even regrow blood vessels. It can improve circulation and eliminate erectile dysfunction. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED, call us in the next 2 minutes and you'll receive a consultation, assessment, and blood flow ultrasound free. Plus, a special gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. You're going to love that. Trust me. This is a $600 value, free to callers now. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Guys, get rid of your ED and get that spark back. Call Hillside Medical now to qualify. 615-576-5000.
Attorney Joe Cordell. New school, new job, new home. Change is hard and can leave you feeling isolated. And divorce delivers one of life's hardest blows. The relationships you counted on are suddenly gone. But you don't have to walk through this alone. For more than 30 years, Cordell & Cordell has guided men through the challenges of divorce. You're not alone. Call Cordell & Cordell.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Nashville area attorneys. 810 Crescent Center Drive, Suite 160, Franklin, Tennessee, 37067.
Jared Stillman.
Football season, and then football season becomes hockey season, and then it becomes draft season, and then it becomes hockey playoff season.
And company.
Maybe this is something to just get people a little bit interested.
It's a matter of not having too many chefs in the kitchen.
Catch Stillman and company on your drive home. Weekday afternoons from 2 to 6 on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and The Game Nashville app.
And I can spot it from a mile away.
Watch live on YouTube, Twitch, and Periscope. From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, broadcasting 97.5 Murfreesboro, 106.3 Williamson County.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's time for Darren, Donick, and Chase. With hosts Darren McFarland, Willie Donick, and Chase McCabe. On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game.
Second hour, Darren, Donick, and Chase here on this Friday here in Nashville. Hopefully the rain's going to stop. A lot of people got some freezing rain overnight. Darren McFarland, Willie Donick here with you. Chase McCabe will join us just a little bit later in the program. Let's head out west. We've certainly talked this week a lot about the Brian Flores case. Alicia Jessup is on the line with us. She's an associate professor at Pepperdine. She teaches sports law, also a contributor for The Athletic, and she now joins us. Alicia, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm great. Thank you.
I have to believe a case like this is going to provide you quite the material at Pepperdine for a while.
It certainly has, and I've been doing a lot of radio shows this week, so it's definitely a monumental case that has been filed against the NFL and 3 teams, and I think we're going to be talking about it for some time.
Yeah, so ultimately, let's just start with where we are right now, because I was commenting on this in the last hour. So Brian Flores comes out, he lays all the goods out on the table, and then it's time for everybody to react, and everybody has reacted, whether it's the Broncos and John Elway, whether it's the Dolphins, whether it's the Giants, and vehemently deny everything, like none of this is true. So as I said last hour, well, somebody's lying. We know that. So what did you make of, like, everybody coming out and, I mean, not even trying to be generic with their responses, their canned responses. I mean, just come out and flat out say, this was wrong, none of this happened, I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, I think it runs the gamut. So I've been in the media for over a decade at this point, and I'm on the New York Giants press release distribution list, so I get press releases from them every single day, all day long. And I had never seen as lengthy or as detailed as a press release as they issued yesterday, categorically denying the allegations that Brian Flores raised, and going so far as to providing a timeline of his interview with the team. So to me, that was the most thoughtful response of all of the responses we've seen thus far. I think the least thoughtful, frankly, was the response that came from the NFL, which, as my colleague at The Athletic alluded to this morning in an episode of The Lead, it came 30 minutes after a 58-page complaint was filed. I'm a really fast reader. I spend most of my days reading. It took me 2 hours to read the lawsuit. So for the NFL to be able to have a response within 30 minutes just leads one to question, how deeply did they look into the allegations and what sort of actual examination outside of this lawsuit will take place within the league and its organizations to assess whether these practices and allegations are actually true.
Maybe they got a Cliff Notes version. I was always a fan of Cliff Notes. The word defamatory. The Broncos used it. The Dolphins used it. In your expertise, when you throw that word out there, is that hinting that a lawsuit is coming their way as well?
It certainly is, and so there's a couple of things that can happen from a legal perspective. So the Dolphins are named as a defendant, and Stephen Ross is the owner of the Miami Dolphins. And so when the Dolphins file their response to this lawsuit, which will come within the next 60 days, we might see a counterclaim for defamation in their response to these pleadings. We might also see John Elway joined as a defendant, or he might file his own separate lawsuit against Brian Flores. He and Mr. Ellis, the president of the Broncos, if they were not, in fact, disheveled and coming off of a bender when they interviewed him in 2019. So, yes, I certainly think that we might see some defamation claims. I don't know if John Elway and Joe Ellis are going to do it. John Elway might, because he's making a bid to own an NFL team. And if this is the type of character or behavior that he is alleged to engage in, that might cut against his ownership group's ability to actually secure that purchase. So he might actually move forward with the defamation claim. I think the person who more seriously needs to look at it is Stephen Ross, because the allegations against him are more than just character allegations. They are allegations that, if true, are violations of federal law.
Yeah.
There is a law under Title 18 of the United States Code that makes it illegal to sway the outcome of a professional sporting event. And for every instance of that, an individual can face 5 years in prison and also fine. So he's facing that if these allegations are true, and also other class action lawsuits by individuals who bet on Miami Dolphins sporting events. So Stephen Ross will be lawyering up, would be my assumption.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So do you think now Washington's, their mess is spilling out in court. Do you believe that there's any chance? Like, to me, it seems like there's going to be a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes to keep this out of a courtroom, right? You don't want this mess playing out in court. Is that how you view it, or how do you ultimately think this is going to play out moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, any defendant wants to avoid the court system because litigation is timely and it's expensive. So I think the first thing that we will be seeing within the 60 days that the defendants have to respond is each defendant filing a motion to dismiss, and the language that we saw them all utilize in their responses to the lawsuit, categorically denying its allegations, signal that they're going to file motions to dismiss. I do believe that the pleadings are sufficient enough to overcome a motion to dismiss and push this into this discovery phase of the litigation process. Obviously, if this is really happening, the NFL does not want that process to unfold. But I think what you have here in Brian Flores is a man who's committed to this endeavor, and he is not going to bow out quickly. And how this pleading was drafted, it signals to me that he and his counselors had some conversations about what the ramifications of bringing this lawsuit could be to his football career. And I think he's willing to accept, he said so much on NPR yesterday, the possibility that he will never coach another down of football again. So I don't think this is a cash grab. I don't think he's looking for a quick settlement. I think he sees a system that he believes is wrong and discriminatory, and I think he's setting out to change it. So I don't think this is going away anytime soon.
We're talking to Alicia Jessup. She's an associate professor at Pepperdine and also has been contributing to The Athletic. And she's got a great piece there breaking down some of the points on this case that are important. Alicia, first of all, we're envious of your position out at Pepperdine. The weather today in Nashville is like 30 degrees and icy and rainy. It's not great. So we're picturing the outlook at the beach out there. But let me ask you this. As a history major, I was intrigued by your article when you talked about the formation of this case really goes back to the Civil Rights Act of 1964. That's really interesting.
Yeah, it goes even further than that because he alleges a claim of a violation of Section 1981 of the Civil Rights Act of 1866, which was promulgated after the Civil War and alongside the Civil Rights Amendments, the 13th, the 14th, and the Civil War Amendments, the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th Amendments. And what the Civil Rights Act of 1866 did is it ensured citizenship to the formerly enslaved people and also their ability to make and enforce contracts, and it allowed intentional discrimination in each of those aspects. And so then, of course, we have the Civil Rights Act of 1964, of which Title VII is a part, and he also alleges violations of Title VII in how the NFL coaching hiring process unfolds, both intentional discrimination and also what is called disparate impact discrimination. So you're exactly right. This is a case that is rife with history, and I would really encourage everyone to read it. It is a lengthier read. It is 58 pages, but frankly, it's very, very, very well written. It's very eye-opening if these allegations are true, and it is a history lesson in a sense.
Well, let me ask you this. When you go with that, what are the biggest hurdles that he's going to face? You lay this out in the article, I think, really well, because it's one thing to have this conceptual thing, history maybe on your side, and as you mentioned, he may not be in it just for himself. It's really to try to further the cause. But if you're just trying to tactically win this case, what are the biggest hurdles he's going to have to cross?
The biggest hurdle is proving intentional discrimination, and that's not just true for Brian Flores. Frankly, it's true for any plaintiff in an employment law case. These are hard cases to win. Intentional discrimination definitely still exists in 2022. The issue is you have to prove it, and what that requires, for instance, would be some email saying the reason we aren't hiring this person is because of their membership in a protected class. That would be a type of evidence that you would have to unearth. People have gotten a lot better at being racist and keeping it undercover, frankly. And so it's hard to prove. And that's not to say that he can't prove it, but plaintiffs have a very hard time in this day and age proving intentional discrimination. The other claim he's bringing under federal law is what is called a disparate impact claim, and that might be more amenable to him successfully proving. So how that law works is you have to show that there's some sort of employment practice that on the surface applies to everyone the same way. But when we dig below the surface, we realize it actually cuts against different people in different ways, and that people who are part of protected classes in the United States, which of race is, it hurts them more than the non-protected classes. And so I really think that's the crux of his lawsuit. His lawsuit is not only filled with a historic timeline of diverse hiring in the NFL, it outlines the statistics and the percentages of diverse coaches in the NFL, of which in a league where there's 70% black players, we only have one black NFL head coach. And so what he points to is there's this pipeline through which coaches come up through the ranks. You become a QB coach. If you become a QB coach, you can become an offensive coordinator. And you essentially need to, per him, become a coordinator before you can be a head coach. And what he points to is across that landscape of positions, there are very few black coaches throughout. So what you have is you have a system where when it comes time to hire a coach, a head coach, a team can say, well, there's no qualified candidates, but we did interview one or two diverse candidates. And so that process or that standard, the standard being the necessity to have offensive or defensive coordinator experience, on the face, it's neutral. On the face, that's not a racist requirement, but as it's applied, it falls more harshly on a protected class of people. So I think he has a pretty decent claim under disparate impact. Where he's going to run into some problems, though, is the NFL also has a pretty good defense to that claim. And the defense is what is called the business necessity defense. And so to defend against this claim, All the NFL has to do is give a reason for why coordinator positions are necessary to become the head coach. They just have to say, look, if you're going to be running a billion-dollar generating franchise, we want to make sure you know how to run a defense or you know how to run an offense. Literally, they can say that, and the case is lost for Brian Flores. So employment law cases are really, really, really hard to win. He might find some success on the state law cases and also the New York Municipal Code. He also might be successful in these federal cases, but I don't want to paint a picture that this is a cakewalk, open-shut case. He's both sides, he and the NFL and the teams, they're facing some very lengthy litigation ahead.
Last thing for you real quick, Alicia, is the Rooney Rule itself is a really big topic of discussion right now. Is there anything that the NFL can do to come out and say, okay, listen, we know this rule is antiquated. Here are the adjustments we're going to make to the rule, and maybe that's part of a settlement here in a perfect world?
I think that does need to be part of the settlement, and that is something he is seeking. He's seeking for greater oversight and greater transparency to be infused into the NFL hiring process. And his lawsuit does a beautiful job doing this because it begins with the quote of the text from Bill Belichick, and then it moves into a quote from Martin Luther King Jr., essentially saying that we can't legislate the morals of men, but what the law can do is make sure that the morals of men don't cut against my ability to be employed. And what I think we're seeing here, not just in this lawsuit, but in the past few NFL hiring rounds, is we're seeing on full display people's biases. The NFL is a white men's club. The owners of NFL team, there are some white female owners and female owners of more diverse backgrounds, but largely the majority of NFL owners are white men. And what I think is on full display is the need for, frankly, unconscious bias training across all levels of the NFL, where these decision makers, if they do feel this way, they aren't just doing these interviews because the Rooney Rule requires them to check a box, but rather they're interviewing a wider and more diverse set of coaching candidates because they realize diversity is good for business. We have data in the business world that shows that organizations that have diverse boards or also women at the helm of their organization produce profits 30% more than businesses who have not adopted diversity. And so I think this is a turning point, or an opportunity for a turning point for the NFL, where they can really put their money where their mouth's been since George Floyd's murder and decide how they are going to embrace diversity and promulgate unconscious bias training throughout all corners of the league. I'm not sure that's going to happen, but frankly, the Rooney Rule is a starting point. And usually 20 years into a starting point's existence, you would like to see some furtherance and growth of how it's operating. We're not seeing that.
Great stuff. Alicia, excellent perspective. Thank you for coming on with us. I'm also worried about later today. When I fall asleep, I might have nightmares about some history tests that I got a C- on at Vanderbilt with some of those, with the Civil War and the Civil Wars Act. We're talking about 100 years of history here. My head could be spinning. But thanks a lot for the perspective. Great stuff. And we'll talk to you again down the road.
Hey, a C- at Vanderbilt's not bad. That's a hard school, so
I did get the degree. I wasn't getting the summa cum laude or any of those things. But
that's fine.
I got through.
That's fine. All righty. Thank you.
Talk to you again soon. All right. Good stuff from Alicia Jessup, associate professor at Pepperdine and contributor to The Athletic. She's got a really good detailed case or article about this case for Brian Flores. A lot to unpack there. We'll come back with more here on Darren, Donick, and Chase.
Meshing journalism.
They are two Score from Titans and Packers.
And sarcasm.
You guys are the worst.
Robbie Stanley and Joe Rexrode are Robbie and Rexrode. No duh. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10. Brought to you by Little Guys Movers on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
Furniture has never been easier to buy than now at Social Furniture. All the 2022 sofas, sectionals, and mattresses are arriving daily with the latest styles and colors ready for delivery. All furniture at Social is top quality solid woods and designer fabrics. There's no waiting, and they have same-day delivery for your convenience. Use their financing and pay no money down and pay no interest for 1 full year. Buy local, support Social. Social Furniture on Charlotte Avenue in West Nashville. Social Furniture is a proud supporter of your Nashville Predators.
Your home value is way up. You can use that money now to pay off credit cards or remodel your house, or both. Hey, Willie Donner for Loan Pronto. Loan Pronto can convert that home equity into cash as little as 2 weeks from now with no cost to you and zero hassle. Mike and Joan in Brentwood called Loan Pronto and they did a Loan Pronto zero cost cash out refi. They got a check for $100,000. They used $50,000 to pay off all of their credit cards and a car loan. Use the other $50K to upgrade their master bath and kitchen. They locked in a new APR in the 2s and lowered their total monthly bills by hundreds of dollars. Hello? What are you waiting on? Call Loan Pronto now and convert your home value into cash. Put that money to good use. Do it now, and you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780 or lowpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. Not all loans apply.
Attention veterans of Middle Tennessee. Little Guys Movers wants to put your hard-earned skills and leadership talent to work with your very own Little Guys Movers franchise. Be your own boss and build a team with standards as high as your own, and all while serving your community with the same hustle that you served your country. Use your existing 401k to invest in yourself. Financing options are available. Start a fulfilling, profitable new chapter of your life as a member of a team with 30-plus years of growth and good times at littleguysfranchise.com. That's littleguysfranchise.com.
Men, it's the new year, and maybe it's time to do something new for you. If you're sluggish and run down, not sleeping well, have low libido, and just not feeling like you used to, it's possible you have low testosterone. This is Kim for the Tennessee Men's Clinic, and if you feel like this, and you're like most men with low T, we can get you back on track fast. Low T treatments can truly change your life. Most men experience higher energy, better gains in the gym, improved sleep patterns, and better mental clarity. You'll also likely find that your libido is improved, which can have a very positive effect on your sex life. At the Tennessee Men's Clinic, we've successfully treated thousands of men for low T. We're experts in these treatment protocols, and we're extremely proud of the results that our patients have experienced. So if you're feeling down and out this new year, it's time to call us. Just $99 gets you a PSA and T test and a medical consult. Call 615-208-9090 or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Visit our website to learn more, including side effects. Treatments extra. Results vary.
Jump in the mind of an NHL veteran as Predators analyst Hal Gill joins Stillman and Company Tuesday afternoons at 5:30.
Here they are in a pressure situation every night because they need 2 points.
And Robbie and Rexrode Thursday mornings at 9:30.
Goaltending, I think it might be an issue at some point.
Presented by Duncan on Smashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. If you've missed any of today's show, just search Darren, Donick, and Chase on Apple, Spotify, or on your favorite podcast platform.
Back here on the DDC, you just made the list coming up at high noon. Get it off your chest. Who or what's made you mad? Bon Jovi tickets on the line. Tim Hasselbeck at the bottom of that hour. So things on tap in the third hour. Here on ESPN 102.5 The Game. Hope everybody's having a good day to your Friday. Good stuff there from Alicia Jessup, who teaches sports law at Pepperdine. That was really good stuff. So it has become the talk this week. There's no doubt about it. I mean, it has not just been a sports story. It has been, it's been everywhere, right? It's not just on ESPN's platforms or Fox. It has been Good Morning. I mean, all over the place. And even in my conversations with people, some friends, that they bring it up. They want to talk about it. And we had a great call a couple of days ago on the show. I don't know what's going to come out of this. If this is going to help things moving forward. I think they had great intentions with the Rooney Rule. I don't think it's particularly effective. I think we all can agree on that. So the question is, how do you fix that? How do you make things better? And I just really liked the call. And I think his name was Anthony, right?
Yeah.
I liked it, but I'm going to just tell you, what one of my conversations yesterday with somebody about that. And I brought up that call and that conversation, and they really liked that, right? Having kind of the person in the back of the room, right? Just basically observing what's going on in the interview. Someone from the league to do that. And I just really like that because I think it can be useful on many fronts. But the question that was raised to me is, you know how this always works. Like somebody's going to question, people question everything. So then how do you determine who's going to be that person? Or is it persons?
I think that to me, after listening to what Alicia said, is really at the crux of this whole case. Because as she laid out in a lot of detail, actually winning and proving the case and walking out of the court victorious is going to be a very difficult challenge.
Yep.
But the end goal isn't necessarily that. The end goal is to, as you're saying, come up with a better system here. And Brian Flores has said, first and foremost, even if it costs him his career, if he can better the system, this will be worth it. That's why he is going down this road, and he's willing to risk his career to do it. That's admirable. And when you listen to Alicia, to me, that's really, if the NFL itself is going to back up what they say in that statement that they flippantly threw out there 30 minutes after getting the 58-page complaint, then they will engage in this, and they'll look themselves in the mirror and say, what is it that we can do to make this system better? We put the Rooney Rule in, but that was 19 years ago. Have we made any amendments to that? How has that rule worked? Have we really gone down the road to ask ourselves, is this the best way to do it? Have we continued to progress and evolve and make the system better? I think the answer is pretty obvious, that there's a lot of people that would say flat out no. It's not doing what it's supposed to be doing. It's flawed. Let's make it better. So if that's have a guy in the room like you suggested, Darren, or Anthony suggested, I should say.
I think a watchdog
maybe
makes sense.
That could be one thing that is absolutely worthy of discussing, along with probably a huge portfolio of other things. And I'm reminded again of Curt Flood, Major League Baseball in the late 1960s, early 1970s, when he challenged the free agent rule and the players' rights, really in general. He didn't win, and he cost himself the rest of his career. But it led to success for the players on whole a few years later when they gained free agency. I think it's the same kind of thing that's going on right now. This is a really historical thing that he's building. And in the meantime, I think we're all curious to see what happens to Brian Flores, because the more you hear about him as a coach, the more deeply respected he is as a coach. He's been very successful as a coach. For I shouldn't say he hadn't won a Super Bowl or anything, but he's had success. He deserves probably another chance to be a head coach. He's willing to risk that to try to make the system better for others. That's pretty admirable.
He was winning football games when allegedly his owner was telling him not to win football games.
Sure.
Which is pretty – by the way, that's one thing that I took out of it is Stephen Ross better, and he's going to because he's extremely wealthy. I think he's worth like $8 billion. He's going to lawyer up big time because if it's proven, which will be very difficult, right? But from what I gathered from what she said, if those allegations are true, he could be in a whole heap load of trouble, right?
And so that's the question is who's going to pick up the ball and run with that part of it, because that's really a side from all this other thing. She used another term that I've heard now, I've tried to learn a lot about, Alicia did, unconscious bias. The NHL and their talks and their desire to become more diverse, try to be more inclusive with their game and the challenges that go with that, they've used that term a lot. In other words, unconscious bias would mean, and this is directed a lot at the NFL owners in this case, their perspective, from their perspective, they're saying to themselves, hey, I've progressed. I don't think I have a bias. I don't think I'm a racist person. Here's why. I think I'm doing a good job in this area. But they may not understand, they may unconsciously have a bias that they don't really realize that they have. And I think that exists in society somewhere, right, with some people. And I think true progressive people will do some self-evaluation and say, you know what, I never thought about that, but let's talk about it. Let's be open about it. Let's not get defensive. Let's not get insensitive. And let's see if we can make it better. So if they're willing to do that I think that would help, and maybe this could lead somewhere. Because I don't think we want to see a nasty fight in court here. I hope it doesn't get to that. I hope it doesn't get to be a bloodbath here.
I don't think it has any chance of that happening. I mean, right now, because I'm going to ask Tim Hasselbeck once again, and I've asked this before, but just again, like, how is Daniel Snyder and his family? How are they still owners of an NFL team?
Yeah,
like how many more strikes does he have? I mean, how many more lives if he's a cat? How many more lives does he have? I mean, why is this guy still an owner? Leagues have already proven. Hell, the NFL's done it. You can boot owners. Why isn't he booted? Why is he still an owner in the league? It is mind-blowing to me. All right, Willie, tell everybody about QC Kinetics.
All right, let's talk QC Kinetics. And I've been telling you about these guys now for a few months. It's a relatively new operation in our listening area that's right here and available to you. Here we are, early 2022. A lot of you might be hindered by some joint pain. Can't shake it. And you're not able to do the things that you love to do. Well, don't give up on it. Don't just say, well, I can't do that anymore. If you suffer from chronic joint pain, don't assume that you have to go down the road of steroid shots or pain pills or surgeries as your only options. You now can get real, lasting, life-changing relief from QC Kinetics. This might be for you. So get that free consultation that I'm about to tell you about. So get ready to write down this number. These are advanced, unique treatments using natural biologic agents, mostly from your own body. These powerful, highly concentrated growth factors are put directly into the affected joint, hips, shoulders, knees, whatever it is. They go to work to soothe the inflammation and restore the damaged tissue. It's regenerative. Success rates are really, really good. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime. This is different. This is new. It's highly successful. So check them out. QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. Free consultation. 615-249-4024 for QC Kinetics.
Every Wednesday, it's me, Jared Stillman, against Joe Rexroad for Jared versus Joe. Brought to you by Parman Tractor and Equipment. Visit ParmanTractor.com, your Middle Tennessee link belt and Takeuchi dealer.
Gary Ashton here. I love hearing people say, don't sell without the intel, because it means they're really embracing our message. Now's a great time to sell your home in Nashville, but you need the intel only the Gary Ashton team can provide. Intel that helps you sell your home without any staging or showings. Intel to find your next home so you can sell your current one while the market's hot. Intel to win the buyer battle and cash in on your home equity now. Let everyone else get the same information and compete for the same properties, while you get the intel edge with the Gary Ashton team, the official real estate team for your Tennessee Titans. And if you're looking for a great career, join our team. We added 65 new agents last year, and we want you to join us this year. Remember, don't sell without the intel. And if you're looking for a great career, the Gary Ashton team wants you in 2022. Call 615-301-1650 or visit GaryAshton.com today.
Hey, Darren McFarland here, and I'm excited to tell you about our friends at Spring Hill Heating and Cooling and their heating and air stimulus plan. If your AC or heating unit is old and inefficient, then you need to take advantage of their special offer right now. They will double your tax refund up to $1,000. Huge savings with Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. Get a York unit that lasts with a 10-year parts and labor warranty with up to 60 months, no interest financing on all York units. Restrictions do apply. Schedule now at springhillac.com. Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, a York certified comfort expert company.
At Copper Branch, they live life to the fullest. Food is your energy and your life. Located in the heart of downtown Nashville, their goal is to serve you, your friends, and family quality, great-tasting, plant-based power foods. Visit Copper Branch at 601 Church Street for breakfast, lunch, and dinner with convenient and validated parking during library hours, and download their app for curbside pickup. Or come out for songwriter and live music nights several times throughout the week to empower, energize, and feel your best. Visit Copper Branch today.
ESPN's Turon Davenport breaks down the Titans like no other.
On the field chemistry, I don't think it's going to be a problem. It's just going to be a process.
Catch TD Mondays at 11, Thursdays at 3, and Fridays at 8. Plus, the Talking with TD podcast drops every Wednesday.
When you draft players, it's not just for one season, it's for a career.
Presented by FreedomTireGuys.com, Nashville's premier mobile tire company. Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
This is Greg McElroy, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Spinning some old Van Halen. Bringing us back. How'd the Hoop Show go last night?
Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah?
broke down a lot of the good stuff, including an interesting question of whether or not the SEC is the most likely conference to produce this year's national champion.
I think the answer is pretty good, I think.
I'll tell you what, I've been watching a lot more.
I have too.
The hockey schedule's been a little lighter.
Yep.
And so I have been able to jump in, and it's if the college basketball world has said, Willie, here are the games you need to watch. I've stumbled in, on the times that I've been able to watch to see some really good matchups. I watched
Welcome home.
Purdue against Ohio State last Sunday, Arizona UCLA last night. I've watched Kentucky play a couple of times here. I've seen Auburn play. The Big 12 SEC Challenge was awesome because I got to see all the contenders in both of those leagues. So I think it's a great question.
I think they've got two serious contenders. I don't think there's any doubt about it. Unless something happens to their play, they lose some bodies. Auburn and Kentucky are two teams that can go all the way. I don't think there's any doubt about it. LSU has kind of fallen off a bit.
Well, that's really the next question is LSU, Tennessee, Alabama, three teams that I think if they're right, they're really good, but they've had some ups and downs here.
They all have one serious flaw.
Who'd you say, Tennessee, LSU, and who?
Alabama.
Alabama, yeah.
Alabama was a really, really good team last year that it was on the verge. They were close of busting through. They almost, in theory, they could have gotten to the Final Four, maybe further. I mean, if they were close.
UCLA upset them in a thriller.
That was a great game. Alabama's not quite to that level this year. They haven't been there, but could they get there? I guess that's the question. Could the SEC have a third team emerge? I know a lot of people that are Tennessee fans are disappointed that their team hasn't sort of gotten to that level because they haven't.
Should be an interesting game. Kentucky at Alabama tomorrow.
Huge game. Huge game. This is an opportunity. Alabama got a big win against Baylor last week. Even though Baylor didn't have their full complement, that's still a huge win on a resume. You go back-to-back Saturdays beating Baylor and Kentucky, now all of a sudden you're going to get talked about.
It might make people forget about the Georgia and Missouri losses, which are two of the worst anybody in the SEC has.
Baffling.
Well, Auburn almost stumbled and lost to Missouri, so it can happen.
How about this, too? I watched Arizona last night. Now, I watched them play Tennessee earlier this year, but I was paying closer attention last night. Two top 10 teams. Yeah. Arizona, of course, Bill Walton was on the call, which is side entertainment as always. I was looking at the makeup of the Arizona team. They've got like 7 different countries. They've got one American player that really plays, maybe 2. They've got a Canadian. They've got 2 guys from African countries. They've got a Swede. How many Swedish basketball players do you know? Not very many. Which George used to always make fun of me. I was the player of the game in a preseason contest, an exhibition game against Solna, a Swedish club team. Very proud of it. Got to do the post-game interview with Ron Bargatze and everything. Had a great game against Solna. So I did well against the Swedes. But since then, I can't name 5 Swedish basketball players, I don't think. But they've got a guy on an Arizona, pretty good player. Then there's a guy from Estonia. He's got his first name on his back of his shirt. He's got a weird headband and a mustache.
He's named after Steve Kerr.
He was named after Steve Kerr. Okay, and he wears number 25 for Arizona. So I was thinking, is this Steve Kerr's son? No. But Arizona is a really interesting team that is, well represented from around the globe. That's a good team.
They're a contender. They're legit. And if you buy into a lot of shot quality metrics, then they have some of the most sustainable success in college basketball because of the type of shots they get on a 100 possession basis.
And they have unbelievable length inside to contest shots. UCLA was having a lot of trouble getting good shots. UCLA is a really good team. I also, Darren, have you watched Chet Holmgren for Gonzaga yet? Have you watched him yet?
I've watched, a little bit.
So you've seen this guy. He is one of the more unique players that you will ever see. I've never seen anybody like him. Have you? Who does he remind you of? Anybody? I don't think I've ever seen a guy like him.
Probably not. Yeah, nobody that comes to mind.
How would you describe him? Like, here we are on the radio. If somebody's out there listening and they have never seen this guy, how would you describe his body type?
I watched a little bit last night.
He had an unbelievable game last night.
He had a double-double last night.
Yeah. And he tore it up at about 5 or 7 minutes of real time. He did about 7 things that you were saying, oh, my God, what did he just do? Like, he's blocking shots. He's taking the ball the length of the court, pulling up from the top of the key and hitting threes, all net. He's 7 feet tall. He looks like he weighs about a 140, right?
Soaking wet.
Yeah.
He has no thickness to him.
Nope.
But he doesn't really get pushed around. He moves fluidly and springy like a guard, right? He can literally bring the ball up the court. He may well be the first pick in the draft coming up this year. He obviously is working on trying to get bulkier, stronger. They showed some of the stuff he does in workouts. But he's like a guard. He's like a more fluid version of
Do you want me
Luke Cornett. Remember, Luke Cornett grew from being like 6'4" to close to 7 feet, and Luke Cornett really had a guard skill set. But he moved this kid Chet Holmgren. He moves even quicker and more fluid. Like he brings the ball up the court.
The funniest thing about him too, you mentioned like even when he does get pushed around, like Cody Riley from UCLA, center, big, thick fella, would push him underneath the basket, where his body's underneath the basket, but he's still blocking a shot because he's got like a 7'8" wingspan. The guy can touch his shins standing straight up.
Okay, do you want me to give you a name?
Yeah, give me a name.
I'm not saying he's this guy, okay? I'm just saying you've asked me for a guy when I watch him, who does he kind of remind, like a young version of him? Kevin Durant.
It's not a bad comparison.
That's, if you're asking me, like I said, I do not, because Kevin Durant is, he's Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say that he's going to, but when I watch him, what he does, he looks like a young Kevin Durant.
Just the way he can face the basket.
Anybody buy that at all?
I think there's something to that for sure. Durant has become stronger, but I think when you see a guy that big maneuver the way he does, there is a comparison.
I mean, when he brings the ball up and then pops a three, doesn't he look like Durant? I think he does.
Yeah, and it's so soft. It's so effortless. He's shooting like, 46, 47% from three with the three-point line moved back.
Great shooting touch.
He's got a tremendous percentage from out there. So that also has you wondering the same question we always ask about Gonzaga. Their league is a little bit better. Like there was talk last night that they'll get an extra team or two in the tournament than normal. It's not just them and St. Mary's. Gonzaga still wipes the floor with everybody in that league. But is Gonzaga better than they were last year, or are they down a notch? Holmgren wasn't on the team last year, but they did lose some great players off of last year's team. Still got a couple from last year as well. Drew Timme, obviously he was there. The guy with the stash, 6'11". So they come at you with a lot of interesting stuff, but Gonzaga is always intriguing because they sit there for 2 months and they're not really challenged, and then all of a sudden they jump in as a 1 seed. Can they go win the whole thing? I think they're in the mix for sure. But I don't know if they're as good as they were last year.
Yeah, we'll come back, and Andrew wants to weigh in on this discussion, so we'll do that on the other side as well to wrap up hour number 2 of Darren, Donick, and Chase next.
This is Colton Sissons, and this is Smashville.
Feeds now Sissons coming onto the left circle, and Colton Sissons puts it in the net.
This is the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network. ESPN 1025, The Game.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Few slick spots out there potentially for the late morning, so easy on the roads. Otherwise, a cold and cloudy day with a high temperature of only 33 degrees.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Tune in to ESPN 1025 The Game every Tuesday afternoon at 4:30 for ESPN's Trevor Maddich joining me, Jared Stillman, on Stillman & Company as we dive deep into the college football world and all the latest from the SEC. It's all brought to you by Houston Clinic Orthopedics, when experience matters.
Genesis Diamonds has everything you need to create the perfect Valentine's experience. A romantic gift, some fresh flowers, chocolates, and dinner out on us. That's right. Genesis has put together the ultimate Valentine's package. When you buy any piece of jewelry for just $99 or more, we'll give you a bouquet of flowers from Jenny's Flowers, some yummy chocolates, and a gift card for dinner at STK Steakhouse. At Genesis, love and romance are what we do best. So we've created this amazing one-stop offer so you can spend quality time with the one you love this Valentine's. We've pulled together some wonderful Valentine gift ideas as well. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, bands, affordable, timeless gifts she can enjoy for years. So bring the sparkle and the romance with one-stop shopping at Genesis. Spend just $99 or more with us and get the flowers, the chocolates, and a gift card for dinner as our gift. Happy Valentine's Day from Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. Limited quantity. See store for details.
Bank of England Mortgage has been helping Americans live the dream of homeownership for over 100 years. Since their humble beginnings in England, Arkansas in 1898, they've grown into a nationwide mortgage lender with 141 offices across 45 states, including 3 convenient locations right here in Middle Tennessee. Find out more at BOE1214.com. Bank of England Mortgage is a division of Bank of England Mortgage. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, NMLS 418-481.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe, Program Director at 1025 The Game, and when our crew is out, we want to look our best. Thankfully, we have Authentically American taking care of all of our apparel. The way your team looks is everything. Enhance your company's image with the help of veteran-owned and operated Authentically American. For you parents out there, they'll take care of your kids' team apparel too. It's Authentically American, and yep, it's made in America. Check them out at authenticallyamerican.us. Mention the game and they'll handle the setup and artwork free of charge. That's authenticallyamerican.us.
Hey, it's Elijah Campbell from Darren, Donick, and Chase, and I got my radio start right here as an intern at ESPN 1025 The Game. It was an excellent experience, and we're now looking for new interns. If you think that's you, go ahead and send your resume over to together@cromwellmedia.com to apply.
A show that doesn't pull any punches.
And they win a playoff game and they get to the divisional round and he doesn't give up a sack the rest of the year. I don't give 2 poops. I'm done.
And has an opinion on everything.
That ref crew that was just terrible. Threw flags on almost every possession.
Jared Stillman hosts Stillman and Company.
Tough guy. He's a really tough guy.
Weekday afternoons from 2 to 6. Delivered by TriStar Moving on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Interact with Darren, Donick, and Chase. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Spoon Man. Back here on Darren, Donick, and Chase. Our show is presented by Gratian CBD products. Curated for life. 615-737-1025. That's our phone line, driven by Wilson County Hyundai.com. Andrew, you're up next. Welcome in.
Yes. Hey, guys. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I just wanted to say something quick about Chet Holmgren. Look, this guy is a clone of Kevin Durant. I'll even go Kristaps Porzingis. We've definitely seen guys that have his build and have his skill set. Now, is he going to produce at the next level? I don't know, but he's definitely looking like he is going to have the chance to get the reins to be the best player in the game moving forward in the future. He's very exciting to watch, and, man, this kid is special.
Honestly, I thought about Porzingis, but I think he's better than him. So that's why I thought Durant was more serviceable to him. I'm not saying he's going to be the next Kevin Durant, but Willie put me on the spot and asked me who, if I had to think of somebody, I went with the better player.
I definitely agree with the KD reference. I've been saying that since he was in high school. I mean, the kid's special, but another player that he plays like and that his body is shaped like is definitely Porzingis. If we're going by height and skill set. So I had to throw him in there, too.
How tall is Porzingis? Is he?
He's like 7'2", isn't he?
Yeah.
He's got to be 7'2", 7'3", yeah.
And you know what's interesting? When I first looked at Holmgren, I was thinking he's that tall because he looks taller than he's listed. He's listed at exactly 7 feet. But he's got a wingspan that seems like it's longer. And so also, what's been one of the biggest things with Porzingis has been staying on the court, right? He gets hurt a lot. So that's another question going forward for a kid that young is, can you stay healthy? Can you endure the rigors of an 82-game season?
Is he one and done?
Oh, yeah. He could be the first pick in the draft this year.
I know, but it's Gonzaga, so I never know if, I never know.
He's definitely one and done.
He's one and done.
Okay. All right. I mean, I figured that, but I definitely wasn't going to disrespect him and say he was Sean Bradley. I definitely wasn't going to do that.
A lot more skill there.
A little bit more. Andrew, thanks for the call.
It's a good question.
So who's the crappy NBA team? Who's the worst team in the NBA?
Oh, man.
Elijah.
You got Sacramento in there.
Well, no, but only one team's going to get his services, so who's the crappiest of all?
Oh, man, there's not
Orlando Magic. They're usually pretty crappy.
Yeah, the Magic.
Magic have won the lottery many times, as we know.
Yes, they have. Detroit, they've been pretty crappy for a while.
Detroit.
What's really bad now is Houston. What the heck happened to the Rockets? Like they've
what the heck
sunk
happened
to the bottom.
to them?
Fire
what do you mean?
sale.
They got rid of everybody. Yeah,
the
just
Pistons,
like Oklahoma City.
Pistons are in the mix.
And the Thunder have like 20 draft picks for the next 5 years. I mean, they have more draft picks than roster spots available. In like the next 4 years, because they traded so many assets for those guys.
In all seriousness, I mean, I know this is we shouldn't be saying this because of what's just been going on, but we've been talking about so loosely for years. But this lawsuit is bringing this stuff to light. It's real. Like, you can't be doing this stuff. But if there's ever a year to be tanking for that number one spot, when you're completely out of it, this is the year in the NBA because you've got that special player there, that can change your franchise. Yeah, but this guy literally can change your franchise.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Well, and then like if you think about it too, like Paolo Banchero for Duke is going to go number 2 probably, and Jabari Smith from Auburn. Like all three of those guys would be number 1 almost any other year if they were in different draft classes.
There are some years that you're better off having the first pick than others, and it's a little bit that's what's funny about not funny, but that's what's notable about the Magic and their luck. Like when they've won the lottery, that guy's been there. With
right.
Shaq. Then they won it again, and they maneuvered Chris Webber with Anthony Hardaway, and they had, all of a sudden they became very relevant in a hurry, and then they won it with Dwight Howard. And then they win it with McGrady, too? Did they win the lottery to get – how did they get Tracy McGrady?
They traded for Tracy
They
McGrady.
traded for
He was
Tracy.
a Raptor for the
Oh,
first
that's
year of
right.
his career.
That's right. How? Why? How? I forgot about that. But that's that'll be something to watch. While we're at it, can we give a little love to the Grizzlies? They keep winning.
They're like a game behind second in the West right now.
36-18. And John Morant missed a bunch of games early in the year. And that's when it kind of clicked for me, because they won some games without him, which shows you the roster is developing and moving in the right direction. Now you've got him playing high level. And I just wonder, teams like the Suns, teams like the Heat, like it's not like it was a few years ago. We were like, well, it's going to be LeBron and it's going to be the Warriors. End of story. Now it's a little bit more of a, you got a chance, right? You're these small market teams who are building.
Does it force Memphis to go for it?
I think it's a good question. Like, are they legit? Like, you look at the...
Oh, they're legit.
The Lakers are 25-28. Like, LeBron's team's like...
Oh,
they may even make the playoffs.
They're not
on the outside looking in.
They're
They're
not,
awful.
it's not going to happen.
That's
especially if LeBron's
crazy to think. The Warriors are back to being the Warriors.
Think about it. Anthony the Brow yesterday. Was it yesterday or their last game? He had like 30 points and 20 rebounds, and they lost. It's like that's Anthony Davis. Like, how bad are they? Like, he has 30 and 20, and they lose. That's how bad they are.
But the Grizzlies they're formulating a team that is getting into the discussion here. That's exciting.
They'll make a run.
And Morant is so much fun. Every night he's doing something where you're like, holy cow, what was that?
By the way, Anthony agreed with my KD reference. You guys didn't really say anything when I threw that out there.
Congrats. There you go.
He agreed. He
NBA scout, Darren McFarland.
How about that? Huh? You put me on the spot, and I just pulled KD out, and we get a call that says, I agree.
There's definitely some similarities there between how they move. Durant may be a little more graceful, but Chet Holmgren's an alien.
And one more NBA shout-out, Darius Garland. Blossoming. NBA All-Star, correct?
Correct. He was the last
Cleveland
All-Star
Cavaliers.
in.
Hey, they're way better than they
31
are way
and 21.
better than I thought. I know.
Well, there are I'm looking at the standings right now. There are 5 teams within a game and a half of the number 1 slot in the East. Now, that's an interesting race.
Well, the East is a little bit weaker.
Well, no question. No question.
All right. It's time for you to feel a little bit better going into the weekend. It's time for you to tell us who or what. I'm just telling you, I am ready. I am more than ready. So jump in there. We've got Bon Jovi tickets on the line for the best. You just made the list. 615-737-1025. We'll release when we come back to start hour number 3. That's next.
From West End to Nolensville,
He's taken the next step.
we are Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Get big game ready and score amazing deals at Electronic Express. Bring the action to your living room with 4K TVs from Samsung, LG, Sony, Hisense, TCL, and more. We've also got huge savings in every department. Computers and gaming, smart home, housewares, and more. The game wouldn't be complete without the food, so save up to 40% on all appliances with up to 36 months free financing. Electronic Express has what you need to get big game ready. We make it happen.
Boys and Girls Clubs of Middle Tennessee ensures children and teens, especially those who need us most, are ready to read, ready for class, ready to graduate, ready for their career, and ready to serve the community. You can support local youth and their great futures by donating at bgcmt.org.
For the love of Tennessee at dawn. For the love of the fight. For the love of having nowhere else you'd rather be. For the love of Tennessee. Travel safe. Brought to you by the Tennessee Department of Tourist Development, the Tennessee Association of Broadcasters, and this station.
Hey guys, it's the new year. Are you still struggling with erectile dysfunction? I've yet to meet anyone that enjoys timing those intimate moments around a pill. Well, now you don't have to. The advanced wave technology at Hillside Medical has been shown by Cambridge University and the Cleveland Clinic to restore and even regrow blood vessels. It can improve circulation and eliminate erectile dysfunction. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED, call us in the next 2 minutes and you'll receive a consultation, assessment, and blood flow ultrasound free. Plus, a special gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. You're going to love that. Trust me. This is a $600 value, free to callers now. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Guys, get rid of your ED and get that spark back. Call Hillside Medical now to qualify. 615-576-5000.
Vanderbilt Commodore fans, your home for all the broadcasts with football and men's basketball games is 93.3 Classic Hits. Tune in each week as Andrew Allegretta and Kevin Ingram brings the fans the exciting SEC action on 93.3 Classic Hits.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, with Darren, Donick, and Chase middays from 10 to 2. Talk amongst themselves.
It's not a star-studded group. They're not all there.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville
a
app.
Cromwell media station.
Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's time for Darren, Donick, and Chase. With hosts Darren McFarland, Willie Donick, and Chase McCabe. On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game. Are you angry? No, really. Has that one person got you fuming? Well, call them out. Now's your chance to tell them.
You know what? You just made the list.
You just made the list.
Here we go.
Let us know who's on your list. Call 615-737-1025. You just made the list. Now, on Darren, Donick, and Chase.
All right. Who or what has made you mad? 615-737-1025. That's our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Jump in there. Bon Jovi tickets on the line at Bridgestone Arena, April 30th. Darren McFarland, Willie Donick, and Chase McCabe, the suit, as he made his way into the Hillside Medical Game Studio.
I have. I'm not wearing a suit. I'm wearing.
Well, you guys aren't on. I can't see.
Well, I'm trying here.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
Elijah says it's waiting on you to start the meeting.
I'll send you the new link. How
Okay.
about that?
New link.
Thank you.
We got booted out of the other one.
Oh, that happens. That
Yeah.
happens. But no, I'm actually
Your
like
time has expired, is what it said.
I'm repping the city of Cincinnati by wearing a Skyline Chili shirt. So
Who sent? Was it Nate that sent us on Twitter Skyline Chili shots like that? I about threw up.
Ugh.
Yeah, that was gross.
I don't know about that.
Gross.
I prefer it on the coney or the noodles. That's what I need.
Okay. Tim Hasselbeck.
I can't believe we just brought up
the
the shot. Now that Ryan Porth has moved on, I thought, sort of the campaign to try to stick up for the Skyline Chili, I thought that would maybe be gone for a while.
I mean, I like Skyline Chili, and it's a cool shirt. So
I can't believe it.
And I'm kind of pulling for the Bengals. I mean, I don't know. I'm like, They haven't won it before. It's been a long time. I mean, they've won their first playoff game since '91. I got friends from there. My dad and I spent a lot of time in Cincinnati, so it's just like I'll go for the Bengals. So I'm just repping today. There, now you can see us.
All right, I've got a quick start to the
get it started
to the list. Just got a beef. I got my Northeastern stuff on today.
You do.
My daughter Evie, freshman at Northeastern, having a great experience, doing well, and we've had him on the show, Darren, a couple years ago. This would have been the 2019 tournament because there was no 2020 tournament. Remember, we had Northeastern Huskies assistant coach Tom Murphy. He's been around forever.
Remember it well.
Prolific head coach at D3. Now an assistant.
Who was the kid that was tearing it up for them in the tournament?
I think you're confusing them with Wofford. Remember, we had Fletcher McGee on. That was.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah.
So we'd love to delve into the mid majors, but Northeastern had another really good team last year, and I was telling Evie, "Hey, this is great. They got a great hockey program, and they got a great hoops program. You'll have places to go, games to see."
Yep.
Unfortunately, Northeastern is 0-11 in the league this year.
I don't mean to laugh.
They're 0-11.
The way you set it up.
You just made the list.
Oh.
So Huskies, come on, let's go. Where's the March Madness? My daughter's there. She wants to be there cheering for the Huskies. They're 0-11 in the league. Like last year, we watched the conference tournament. We watched the semifinals. We were like, Evie, this is going to be you. You're going to be in the stands. This is great. They won. They ended up losing in the conference tournament finals, and they didn't make it to the big dance. We were like, okay, good program. You know one of the coaches. It's going to be awesome. They're 0-11 in the league.
Best player transferred to Michigan State. That might have something to do with it. He is now their starting point guard.
Good news is she's not one and done. There's more, there's time.
There's time. So maybe March Madness down the road. In the meantime, they do have the Bean Pot. They've got the hockey. They do have a very good – with Gunnar Wolf Fontaine, of course, a Predator prospect.
Great name.
That she has been told to keep an eye on, for progressing. So she's a de facto scout for the Predators. So she can concentrate on the ice.
Okay.
In the meantime, the Hoops team is on the list.
Wow.
Come on, Huskies.
On the
I thought you were putting
You just
yourself
made the
on the
list.
list for, upselling.
I
the
know.
basketball
I
program.
did.
That's what I thought you were doing.
I did
But you're going to
upsell.
blame the basketball
Well,
team.
I
rather
should
than
take
yourself.
some of the blame. I should take some of the blame.
You upselled. You really
I got to
did.
talk to Coach Murphy, find out what happened.
By the way, Joe West retiring. How about that?
Yeah, I saw
Cowboy Joe, another former guest of the show. Cowboy West.
In person.
Oh, man. Oh.
In person
That
at
was-
Bridgestone Arena.
That was quite the confrontational interview with the late Nick the Stick Hunter.
Nick Hunter.
Another great chapter in the Nick the
Is
Stick Hunter.
Joe West who Caleb was telling the story about that he
Oh,
kept
yeah.
pulling the
Oh,
spoons
yeah.
out?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. All right.
That was awesome.
Characters of the game.
I'll go next because I got some stuff to get off my chest.
Is this my turn?
Let's start with Elijah. Go on and hit it.
Relatability. Look at me. Relatability. False start. 5-yard penalty. And very little athletic ability. You got to open up the
All right,
playbook.
stop
Darren
it right
McFarland.
there. Stop it right
Come
there.
on.
Okay, so my list today is going to, and I'm not done. It's lumping everybody together, okay? And this is a problem with me because you guys know I've said to the listeners, I've asked them, I've begged them, I've pleaded with them. If you have a problem with something that's being said in our window, our 4-hour window, we are individuals. We are responsible for our own words. If you have a beef with me, take it up with me. Don't blame Willie and Chase. If you have a beef with Chase, take it up with him. Don't blame me and Willie. If you have a beef with Willie, then take it up with him and don't blame Chase and I. Okay? And so you, as the PD suit, McCabe, there's a promo running constantly that, as you just heard, says a show that has no athletic ability, and that is false. That is absolutely false. You are dragging us into your athletic mess. Okay? That is your mess over there in the corner.
I thought you were the PD for the people. What about
You-
your people?
That is a false promo because Willie played at a high level. I've played sports most of my entire life. I didn't play at the level he did, but I am not going to say I don't have any athletic ability whatsoever. And yet
And we got D-Base back in the mix.
And
that
D-Base
that really tips
is
the scales for
also
us.
part-time this show and soon to be he's in the 3D Hall of Fame, and you said the show has no athletic ability, the promo. It's false. It's wrong.
What happened?
That promo is wrong, and it deserves to be on the list.
Elijah was a great high school player.
And
Elijah was hooping.
I didn't even get to Elijah.
Yeah. What happened? What happened?
That show, that promo is BS.
We had a breakdown in the system.
All right. So here's
Get
what
it out of there.
Here's what we're gonna do. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm going to explain what has happened here. The promo is going to die. It will never play.
Going to.
It will never. Well,
It's been dead to me since it's been
It's
played.
still alive though. It's
dead
still,
to
it's still
me.
in the rotation.
It will never play again.
It'll never play again.
But
Okay,
I will.
now
I
we're
will
talking.
give you. All right, good. My luck is it's going to play before I have a chance.
It may or may not be in the log already.
Of course it is. It's my
queued up.
luck. Yeah, okay, so those promos were written under the previous regime. Okay.
Oh, that was Mr. Porth.
Ryan wrote those with my help, and the idea behind them originally was to make the athletic ability or lack of athletic ability all about me. That was the idea.
Okay, and that's
That was
fine, but it didn't. It didn't play that way.
I understand. Through the transition of things, those kind of got thrown to the back burner.
Now it's on the burner.
Now it's
right?
on the burner.
It is on the burner.
I apologize because the original joke was supposed to be making fun of me because you guys know I will make fun of myself more than anybody. So that's what I was attempting to do, and it just didn't work out.
By the way, I like the promo. If it just would have directed the ending at you, I'm totally cool, but it didn't. It cast a shadow on the entire show. It netted the entire show as not being having no athletic ability, and that was wrong. I actually liked the promo until the very end.
I understand. Again, I am the people's PD. You've come to me. You are the people. You have expressed your displeasure.
The oversight committee has come in.
The oversight committee has come in, and I will hear you out, and it will be taken, not under advisement, but it will be done.
So that promo, Elijah.
86th.
You just made the list.
Thank you.
I've been beaten down today, so you got it. Whatever you want.
All right. Well, you knew this was coming. Though. This was not. Look, you didn't get blindsided.
No,
you knew this
I
was
knew.
coming.
Whatever you want.
So we're hoping this will be a short stint on the list, and then you'll be,
That's fine. I live on the list.
The wind is blowing a lot harder at the top of the totem pole.
It really does. Like it's very windy up here.
Yeah,
but that's okay.
So my other one, my other layer is going to be, get the bell ready,
Is this me
Elijah. Too? No. It is for our afternoon show host, one Jared Stillman. Yeah. Because if I had to listen to him one more time yesterday, the midday show doesn't think anything can happen. The midday show, again, casting a net. Jared, you don't have any problem naming names. Name your names. You were directing that at one person. Name that person on the show. The show did not say what you said. An individual on the show said, and you said every time you referenced our show, the midday show said, name names. No, the midday show did not say that it's impossible.
I feel like when you're going to do your impression of him, you need to have it needs to be a little more whiny when you do it. But,
I know. I'm not trying to do an impression. Just
okay. And so, Darren, who would be that individual?
That would be one Wiley Danuke.
Wiley Danuke, no question. And I did not
he
say
was directing at you every time he said the midday show said.
I never said it was impossible. By the way, I just said it is not practical, and they should not do it. Anything is possible.
You have no problem naming names, Jared Stillman.
Yeah.
Name
Go
names.
ahead. Talk about me. That's cool.
Don't throw a net. Don't throw a net on the show. And if it's me, then name me. But it wasn't me because I know who you were talking about. You know why? Because we're individuals. We all have our own opinions. And you were directing that at one Northeastern. That would be Mr. Danuke. So just say it. But every time I listened yesterday, the midday show said. So there you go. And by the way, Arby's, you still suck. Bring back potato cakes. I'm done.
Okay.
Mine is the jackass on the road this morning that decided to go 80 miles an hour
movie?
with ice. Yes.
It's out. That's right. It's out. You saw it?
No. Yeah, I saw it this morning on the road. I'm getting onto the interstate at Charlotte, and the potholes are so bad they have a section of the interstate closed. So you have to all get into one lane, and everybody is aware that you have to get into this one lane, except for this guy that, he's just better than everybody else.
What's his name again?
He's a jackass, and he zooms around to the outside on the curb to get around everyone, only to have to stop because we got to get in one lane. So, and he didn't clean the ice off his car either, so it was flying off.
Oh my gosh,
man.
Definitely.
A lot of violations.
You
Multiple
should probably
violations.
give his license plate number. That's how much he deserved that.
You just made the list.
Golly. All right, we'll come back. Loaded lines. We'll just knock out a ton of phone calls. Who or what is on your list? 615-737-1025. We'll do that next here on ESPN 1025 The Game.
So, what is Jared Stillman going to say this afternoon?
You got to play if you want to earn $14.6 million next year.
Oh, brother, here we go.
But I'm done on investing money in dudes that can't get on the field.
Tune in to Stillman and Company, weekday afternoons from 2 to 6.
This is some serious stuff right here.
Delivered by TriStar Moving on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
The IRS is ramping up collection, and if you owe back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, listen carefully. Before it's too late, check your eligibility for the Fresh Start program still offered by the IRS to reduce or even eliminate your tax problems. Call our special hotline number now and find out in minutes if you qualify for these life-changing debt reduction programs. Business or personal, if you're in a payment plan with no end in sight, have unfiled tax returns, under audit, have a wage or bank levy, or finally just want to know your options, call the experts at Republic Tax Relief and stop collections immediately. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau with a 5-star rating from Yelp, this veteran-owned company has the fight you need to take on the IRS. Don't go at it alone. Call their hotline number now, 800-819-1120. That's 800-819-1120. Find out if you qualify today. Call 800-819-1120 or go to republictaxrelief.com.
Need cash for that home improvement or want to finally be credit card debt free? How does a check for 80 or 90 grand sound right now? Loan Pronto can do it for you, whether you have a VA loan or a conventional loan. They're helping local homeowners convert their home equity into cash with zero closing costs. Willie Donick here. Listen, your home value is up. Let Loan Pronto tap that equity and get you the cash you need. Pay off high interest loans. Start that home remodeling project. Veteran homeowners are really loving this because with a VA loan, you can tap 100% of your home's equity. That's a ton of cash. Loan Pronto's all-digital process makes it fast and easy. They are doing loans with APRs in the 2s. And if you call now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call now to see what your options are. Loan Pronto, 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. That's 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. Not all loans apply.
Victory Award-winning New Amsterdam Vodka knows all about it, but in life, it's not always so clear. So New Amsterdam Vodka believes that in life, you've got to find your own wins. You've got to overcome your fears, go all in, even when you've got nothing at all. Find your wins. And when you do, raise that glass of New Amsterdam Vodka in victory. You've earned it. New Amsterdam Spirits Company, Modesto, California.
If you've missed any of today's show, just search Darren, Donick, and Chase on Apple, Spotify, or on your favorite podcast platform.
Oh, we're getting after it on You Just Made the List. 615-737-1025. Robbie Stanley from Robbie and Rex Road has weighed in on Twitter. He has tweeted at us. Chase is on my list. No reason why other than he's a suit.
I'll take that.
Nate on Twitter says, when Elijah rings the bell, I think of the recent Taco Bell commercials.
Oh, yeah.
Did you have a text before we get to these phone calls?
I do have a text on my personal text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, from one Chris Sanders.
Oh.
He says, tell Darren he made the list because he thinks he's an athlete. We played cornhole, and he pulled his hamstring. John Candy was a better athlete.
You just made the list.
Sanders, I'm coming for you.
He said John Candy was a better athlete.
I'm coming. Hey, he was in Cool Runnings. He was the coach.
He was.
Hey, he was the catcher, too, in Brewster's Millions with
oh, my gosh. You just did oh, my goodness. You're right. Wow.
I mean, that's an underrated 80s flick right there.
You're talking about a throwback. Okay.
Elijah's throwing his hands up. Come on.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah, no, he's got
Richard Pryor?
The guy who hasn't watched Major League and Bull Durham, no chance.
He's got no chance for Brewster's Millions. But that's a good flick. John Candy is a great catcher. He does the this is before Major League. He did the trash talking to distract the batter.
Oh, yeah.
I think, our man Man, my brain is not working very fast. But Tom Berenger,
yes,
I think he got it from John Candy. I think he got the tactic. He used the same thing.
Nice. All right, let's
Robbie, next thing you know, you'll be putting product in your hair like your predecessor.
Oh, wow.
You just made the list.
I love it. Darts are flying everywhere. Let's go. Eric, who or what is on your list?
Hey, guys, great show today. I'll tell you, I'm just dying laughing on the phone while I'm listening to all this. Guys, on my list, guys, I got to go here. It's got to be the guy at the Golden Corral that started a brawl because of the issue of the steak in Pennsylvania. Here's the thing. Now, those reports ran out of steak, but the story I'm hearing is he asked for a steak to be cooked a specific way, and apparently he felt like I got cut in line and stole his steak. So I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I've heard. But, of course, I saw the video where chairs were being thrown, high chairs, regular chairs. One guy actually did pick up a table and tried to hit somebody, and one of the employees there stopped him. It was like 40 people involved, guys.
I did see it.
Buffet etiquette and stuff, guys. But I'll tell you what, a couple other stories involving Shoney's. I don't know if it's the same guy. I was at a Shoney's one time and saw a guy take some tongs and put like between 10 to 20 pieces of bacon in the to-go box. And I'm looking at it saying, dang, dude. But there was actually a story of a guy that actually got banned from Shoney's because this server had brought out like a whole big pan of bacon, and the guy literally took the whole pan of bacon to put in the go box to go. And she's trying to explain to him, sir, all you can eat does not mean to take the whole tray of bacon. And he said, listen, I paid $8.99 for it. I'm taking it all. And because he did that, because it was enough to like feed his family for a whole week, he got banned from Shoney's. So, guys, y'all take care.
Thank you, Eric.
You just made the list.
If you want to get a good laugh, watch the Philadelphia News, the eyewitness reporter on the scene go back through and interview the food fight, the brawl that happened in the buffet line out there. It is funny.
This just furthers
there's a video of the chairs flying, the
it's
tables
ridiculous.
flying, the food's going all. It looked like Animal House.
This furthers my belief that Golden Corral is not a place that you dine in and enjoy. It's a place you survive.
That's very true.
Wasn't it Louis Anderson? May he rest in peace. Wasn't he? Didn't he have that? Wasn't that part of his bit of? He went to the Asian buffet and he's there like officially like, you go home now. You've had too much. You go home. Wasn't that one of his in his stand up?
Yeah.
I always got a kick out of that. All right, let's go to Carrie. Carrie, you're up next. Who or what is on your list?
This is the second time I've called in on this, and it's about your radio app. It's still the same way. Nothing has changed. I went to log on it a day after I'd been on it before, and I still had to reboot my phone.
Okay, refresh our minds with refresh your story. What was going on again? What's happening?
Well, when I'm on the phone and I get a phone call or I go to a text and then I come back to the app and then it's like it doesn't refresh, it doesn't pick up, it doesn't do anything like it did before. And then I've got to reboot my phone to get the app to even work, and then I've got to go through listen live and then listen to 102.5, and I love you guys. But I mean it's getting old.
Have you updated the app, Carrie?
Well, the app should automatically be updated, but Chase was going to take care of this.
Well, I am Chase, and for one,
let's start there.
Let's start there. Two, I've taken it to the tech people, and they've looked into it and said that they did some updates. So, you're the only person that has told us that this is happening. So, if you haven't updated it, try that and see what happens.
Well, okay, I will.
The wind is blowing high up on the totem pole. Once again, you get the people's PD. He's here for the people, and he gets attacked on the air.
I do.
You just made the list.
You're on the list. But you said, what was your line? You live on the list.
I live on the list.
When you're the PD for the people, You live on the
You
list.
know what I've noticed in the past month since I've taken this? I looked in the mirror and there's more gray in the beard now. It's kind of funny how that works.
I'll tell you what.
Now Robbie is jumping in on the act and
over
saying,
you today.
"Fix the app."
He is all over you today, man. I don't know what you've done to Stanley, but man, he's on it. He is giving it to the suit, Chase McCabe. In all seriousness, you do have to update the apps. Like
Yeah, sometimes you have to go to your
Sometimes it
thing
doesn't
and say,
automatically
update.
update.
Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah,
automatically.
it doesn't automatically.
No.
You go in there and just up. It's free and easy to do. It takes like what, 30 seconds?
Yeah.
For it to update. Yeah.
So I would try that.
Go to your app store and update the.
I don't know what
the
kind of
game
phone he
app.
has. You know, I don't know if he has the iPhone 13 or the iPhone 2 or what.
He could send you an email, and you
could.
would be willing to help him,
Yeah,
right? That's
send
all
me
you
an
can do.
email.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's go to Kenny
The
the Mailman.
People's PD is here for you, Kerry. He's
Who
here
or-
for you.
Who or what is on your list?
Fellas, how are y'all doing today?
Good, Kenny.
Guess what? Darren McFarland makes my list.
Oh.
And
You
just
made
the list.
Thank you. Thank you for naming
people
names.
dread it, but this is in a good way. You've made a list because I don't know if people know this side of Darren, but he cares about education. He likes people and he likes to help people. And he's helped me this past week with my vocabulary because if you listen to the show, a lot of people that move to Nashville, I in the past have called them newcomers or immigrants or transplants. I learned this week that Darren McFarland calls them implants to Nashville. And you know what, though? He might have a point because don't most people move to Nashville in pairs? And, you know, everybody's different shapes and sizes. They come in pairs, and I think Darren just made his points. So that's why he's on the list. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you, Kenny.
You just made the list.
I thought when talking about L.A., implants was appropriate.
Yeah.
You know?
Very 90210 of you.
There are a couple of markets that I think it's appropriate to talk about their implants, and that's Miami and L.A. Just saying. I don't think
By
I've
the
said
way,
that about
it's-
Nashville, have I?
It's John Panette that did the bit you're talking about, not Louis Anderson.
Oh, really?
That's what the people are telling me.
Okay. I thought it was Louis. Maybe I just wanted to work.
The people disagree.
Okay. Let's go to Wayne. Who or what is on your list?
I'm going to have to put Darren and Robbie on my list for putting Chase on their list.
Oh, well, thanks.
Okay.
Chase is the head of the table. He has wise counsel, and you should acknowledge him.
Well, I did acknowledge him by putting him on the list.
He's the needle mover.
I am.
He's moving the needle.
Darren, acknowledge me.
Acknowledge him.
I did acknowledge him. I put him on the list and told him to change the damn promo.
You just made the list.
If he wants to run like Vince McMahon, that's his prerogative.
Yeah.
Thank you, Wayne. I appreciate it.
Wayne, stepping up for the
You
PD.
must be a huge wrestling fan, Wayne.
Yes, because there were about 6 wrestling references in that.
Yes, I know.
In
That's
less
what I
than
said.
10 seconds.
That was awesome.
And the fact that I got them and acknowledged
I'm
it. That says
I'm
it.
proud.
I know.
I'm proud.
Let's go.
I mean, the wise counsel that he's referring to is Paul Heyman, who I interviewed a couple weeks ago, who put our buddy Bob Cole on the list. So, you know, that was pretty funny.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Did we play that portion of the
I don't
interview?
think we did, no.
No? Let's go to Tim. Tim, who or what is on your list?
Well, first off, as far as the list goes, and if I was going to pick a winner, I'd have to say none of the above.
I see where you're
Call
going with
back
that.
to Brewster's Million.
Yes.
And I think who's on my list is, well, also, you're also lumping fat comedians together, so I don't know if there's...
Wow. Tim.
Anyway,
Tim, come on.
Who's on my list? I'm a delivery driver, and with the snow and the ice out here, I like to keep a good 5 or 6 car lengths of safety between me and the car in front of me. And I'm going to put on the list of people that think that that is a prime spot to move into and then hit their brakes and take a right turn right in front of me. So then I got to start slip sliding away like Paul Simon. I just don't understand why you can't just tap your brakes, get behind me, and make your right turn instead of cutting me off, putting me at danger, and everybody else, because I got a big truck, so I got to be careful. But, you know, that's who's on my list, is people that think snow and ice is nothing, safety means nothing. Let's just cut people off and turn right in front of them.
You just made the list.
Well said.
Thanks, y'all.
All right. Nobody's going to disagree with that. I'm sure that's been going on all morning long. Let's go to Scott. Scott, who or what is on your list?
Well, sadly, this is also a repeat of something from a few weeks ago. My list is the Bally Sports crew.
Oh, no. Is this about the pizza? Have you still not won the pizza?
I have still not won the pizza, but no, this is about the starting lineups. I'm not aware of any other sports broadcast on any other network of any other sport where they don't list the starting lineups at the start of the game. And not only for Nashville, I mean, it's helpful to know who's out. They have the graphic to show who's out, but at the rate we promote guys, it's not always, you don't always know who's in by just showing who's out. And I know Willie does a good job of verbally trying to say that over that graphic, but it's the other team too. You know, it's helpful to know who their lines are and their deep pairings are. And I'll just use the example of Buffalo. You know, we have a graphic showing who's out for the Sabres. I have no idea who's in for the Sabres. We play twice a year.
No, this is a good point.
Twice a year. We haven't seen him in 2 years. And if it's not Taylor Hall and Jack Eichel, I have no freaking clue.
Well, Jack Eichel doesn't play for him anymore.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. They've changed. They've changed a little bit. They've changed a little bit. I get it.
That's my point.
Yeah,
good point.
I mean,
well, Scott, you'll be happy to know. You'll be happy to know that I have had a conversation with our group.
Have you taken it to your people?
I've taken it to the people. We're working on it. They think it's a very good suggestion.
Are you a mover and a shaker?
Scott,
can you do what Chase does?
I mean, it doesn't have to be a fancy graphic with headshots. I mean, you guys have got a crawl down there that at the beginning of the game is just showing start times for games that haven't started and about the wine fundraiser. I mean, you could at least put the starting lineups on the crawl. So, I mean, that would be helpful.
Would you be willing to be the presenter of that? Would you be okay if they said,
I would.
These lines presented by Scott?
If it involves Hunt Brothers Pizza. You gotcha.
Shout out to Hunt Brothers Pizza.
There we go.
Scott, we're working on it.
Thank
okay?
you.
I appreciate it. Stay on this.
Hey,
Stay on this. We're going to get this done.
He is not going to let this go.
Yes.
So
I just want to say that I have taken this upstairs. I am unlike Chase. I'm not at the top of the totem pole here. But I have some pull. I had the conversation. I feel like there's good vibes on that. I think it's going to happen.
It's cold up here.
I can't make a promise.
I thought heat was supposed to rise. I don't know.
You do wear a suit though, so
that's
you know.
true. That's true.
No, I'm talking to Willie. You do
on
wear
game
a
night.
suit.
On game night.
Yeah.
Only when required.
All right. I feel like we got some things accomplished, right? I mean,
we
Twitter.
did.
By the way, Twitter is going just ape. Sorry, Pete. Sorry, Pete Weber.
It is.
Stealing your word, but it's going freaking ape. So, all right. Chase, tell everybody about BetMGM.
Let's do it. Sign up for BetMGM and find out why they are the king of parlays. And you all know that I love a good parlay. Use one game parlay to make multiple selections within a single game from hundreds of betting options. How about supercharging your payout for even more winnings? Try Parlay Boost. Or maybe you're fearless and want to take a shot at Parlay Generator. Sign up on the BetMGM app or the website. Use the code 1025GAME, and your first bet will be risk-free up to $1,000. Just visit BetMGM.com for full terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager. Tennessee only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable free bets or site credit. Free bets expire 7 days from issuance. For problem gambling support, call the Tennessee Red Line at 800-889-9789.
Every Thursday at 1 on Darren Donick and Chase, we're joined by Sportsnet's Elliot Friedman for the best inside knowledge on the NHL. It's all brought to you by Bank of England Mortgage on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Furniture has never been easier to buy than now at Social Furniture. All the 2022 sofas, sectionals, and mattresses are arriving daily with the latest styles and colors ready for delivery. All furniture at Social is top quality solid woods and designer fabrics. There's no waiting, and they have same-day delivery for your convenience. Use their financing and pay no money down and pay no interest for 1 full year. Buy local, support Social. Social Furniture on Charlotte Avenue in West Nashville. Social Furniture is a proud supporter of your Nashville Predators.
QC Kinetics provided amazing pain relief for a former professional baseball player, and you have access to the same life-changing treatments as retired Braves pitcher Jose Alvarez.
I put a lot of stress and strain and work on my right arm, but my right elbow took most of the damage with 3 surgeries.
Arthritis developed, and the pain was unbearable.
It wasn't just pain when I was trying to play sports. It was anytime I was moving the right elbow. It was pretty excruciating at times.
That's when Jose discovered QC Kinetics and the regenerative treatments that help the body heal itself, restoring damaged tissue and providing relief with no surgery or downtime. Jose's message to the medical professionals at QC Kinetics?
My elbow is feeling outstanding. Where were you 10 years ago, for crying out loud?
QC Kinetics is right here. Call for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024. QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024.
Genesis Diamonds has everything you need to create the perfect Valentine's experience. A romantic gift, some fresh flowers, chocolates, and dinner out on us. That's right. Genesis has put together the ultimate Valentine's package. When you buy any piece of jewelry for just $99 or more, we'll give you a bouquet of flowers from Jenny's Flowers, some yummy chocolates, and a gift card for dinner at STK Steakhouse. At Genesis, love and romance are what we do best. So we've created this amazing one-stop offer so you can spend quality time with the one you love this Valentine's. We've pulled together some wonderful Valentine gift ideas as well. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, bands, affordable, timeless gifts she can enjoy for years. So bring the sparkle and the romance with one-stop shopping at Genesis. Spend just $99 or more with us and get the flowers, the chocolates, and a gift card for dinner as our gift. Happy Valentine's Day from Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. Limited quantity. See store for details.
Zines First is the official sign company for 1025 The Game. Go to sfnash.com.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe of Darren, Donick, and Chase. I started my radio career as an intern right here at ESPN 1025 The Game. Now we're looking for our next great batch of interns. You think that's you? Send your resume to together@cromwellmedia.com to apply today.
Saturday, the Blue Raiders of MTSU head to Birmingham to take on UAB. Coverage begins at 2:30
on ESPN
94.9 and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, this is Mookie Betts. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 1025 The Game.
I'm bringing
Every week, he's brought to you by Red Spirits and Wine in Bellevue. He's Tim Hasselbeck. We are. Let's bring him up. By the way, you just made the list delivered by TriStar Movers with 5-star service. It was 5-star today. Well done on You Just Made the List. Good job. Really, really good stuff. Tim, how you doing?
Doing great. How are you guys?
Doing fantastic. Do you know Jeremy Fowler? You ever heard of him?
I do. I know Jeremy Fowler. Mm-hmm.
He just tweeted out that former Texans OC Tim Kelly is in talks with the Titans offensive staff, per sources. But the plan is to have him join Mike Vrabel's staff. He was, I guess, with Mike Vrabel in Houston. So just wanted to pass that along.
Yeah, well, and you know what's interesting about, if you look at his track record, he was one of the guys that was essentially held over because, at the time, the thought was, well, he'd done a good job with Deshaun Watson, right? And so we're going to keep him. Now, obviously, didn't get to work with Deshaun Watson. And then when you think of, kind of how things went, with Davis Mills, I think there's a lot of people that feel like he did a really good job when you consider all the, just kind of dysfunction is probably the right way to put it. that was going on in Houston, that he's done a really good job there. And I thought that he would be somebody that, whether Bill O'Brien got a head coaching job, either in college or in the pros or somewhere else, that we probably could have seen him resurface as an offensive coordinator for Bill O'Brien.
Interesting. There's a lot of things we got to get to with you. So let me start with Daniel Snyder. And I've asked you this before, but as it just continues and continues, I don't know if this guy was a cat. I mean, I think he would be dead twice. He used up his lives twice over. If he was playing baseball, he struck out 4 times in a game. I mean, how many more opportunities? Like, why is he still an owner? Why is his family still an ownership group in the National Football League? I mean, it's like, how many more things have to come out about Daniel Snyder and, the things that have happened on his watch and a lot of it directly because of him? Why they've booted owners before? Why can't they boot him?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably not as easy as it. I mean, I think it probably needs to be pretty clear, cut and dry, and I think that that's why everyone is so. Everyone, but it seems like there's significant frustration about not having all the information, right? Like, it seems like, okay, well, there's been an investigation, but what are the results of the investigation other than some John Gruden emails? So, I think to answer your question, kind of, I guess, specifically on it, I guess for Daniel Snyder, there really hasn't been anything other than allegations, an investigation, and then it was a bad culture and we're going to do better. I mean, that's really all that's come of it, right? I mean, I don't know that there's been, I think this is different than like what happened in Carolina. I'm not saying like the events are different. I'm saying like the true findings that were released, made public, have been different than they've been in Carolina.
Well, where have they? Is it the House? Like where are they? These women testifying? They're testifying in court. I mean, I've been watching. Where is it? The House, a reform committee? What is it? I'm not up to speed on exactly. I mean, the woman that said she worked directly with them as secretary, and he would force her to. Yeah, it was all. And we know the whole cheerleaders.
Yeah, listen. I mean, here's the thing. Like truthfully, I think it's probably one of these things. I mean, it's probably a matter of time. I mean, when you think, everything from, some of the minority ownership groups, trying to get out to probably prior to that to force him to sell. So, yeah, my guess is that it's, a matter of time. I also think he kind of did things, and I know we've talked about this in the past, but his wife, Tanya, essentially, has taken over. I think is technically, with how it's written, is like she's in charge now of the operations of the club, not him. I think he kind of I'm trying to remember back to when it happened that essentially like he was going to step back, not have that role, and he essentially assigned it to her. And I think part of doing that is that she's really well respected, I think, in league circles because of some of the things that she's done for the league. And I think it's probably been well documented that she kind of was the main driving force behind the NFL's Crucial Catch campaign, as it related to cancer, her being a cancer survivor herself. So I think there's probably a lot of different things at play in terms of that team's relationship with the league.
We had Alicia Jessup on in the last hour, Tim, who's a sports law professor at Pepperdine, contributor for The Athletic, talking about the whole Brian Flores, allegations and lawsuit and how the Giants and the Dolphins and John Elway and the Broncos have all responded. What have you made of this? It's become, the discussion piece the last 72 hours. So what do you make of it? Let's start there.
Yeah, well, I think you guys know he and I are teammates in college, and he's definitely close with, family members of mine, and my younger brother and Brian were roommates in college and stuff. So he's He's a good guy. He's obviously a good football coach. And, I think ultimately, in terms of like some of the stuff, and I haven't seen everything. I haven't seen every interview, and I haven't seen, every law professor, comment on it. But, I think there are some things in the allegations. Like, look, if Stephen Ross is offering $100,000, per loss, like that's a problem.
She said it. She said he's in big trouble if you can prove it.
Yeah, we talk about surviving it with the league's, relationship with gambling, especially what it used to be, how it's evolved with, new gambling laws in this country changing, especially state by state. Like, offering your coach money to lose games is that. I mean, Pete Rose got really kicked out of baseball for betting. I guess on Reds games, right? Like you can't. You have an owner, paying somebody $100,000 to lose games. Like that's a huge problem. If in fact that's what happened. So like to me, like that's the thing that I feel like really jumps out as like hey, that's an issue. As it relates to the interviews, between the Giants and the Broncos and things like that, like. I think that is the Rooney Rule. I think that's just what it is. That is the Rooney Rule, right? I mean, that's what the Rooney Rule is trying to have happen. And
will this force them to revisit it? You think, and maybe you think this will kind of force them to get back in and.
Yeah, but I think they always are revisiting it, right? Like I think they always are. I mean, remember, it was like, there was going to be. I think there was something, recently about, awarding draft picks to teams, that hire, certain candidates, like that they would be rewarded, somehow in draft compensation, for who they've hired. And, initially people were like, I hate that idea. And yet some people were like, you know what, I don't love it, but I do think it's a good step. And, so I think they're always revisiting the rule and trying to really help it create more opportunities for candidates that didn't have the opportunities in the past. And so, like, truthfully, like, I think that's the one thing about the situation that people, I guess, I think is getting lost a little bit in some of the conversations I've seen about it is that, a lot of times, like I remember this was the case years ago. It was like, well, somebody would interview for a job and say, hey, they didn't interview well. Like that was the report coming out of it. Well, they didn't interview well. Well, and so part of the Rooney Rule was, listen, even if a guy doesn't get the job, it creates an opportunity to interview for the job, which they weren't getting before. And so now, the experience of the interview and being able to learn from the interview and do a better job in your next interview was like, well, look, that's part of this too, right? And again, not perfect or flawless or anything, but like that was part of the appeal of the rule. And so now I think the way it's being represented sometimes is that now that no longer is an appealing part of the rule.
All right, we'll come back. More with Tim Hasselbeck on the other side. He's brought to you every week by Red Spirits and Wine. In Bellevue, as you listen to Darren Donick and Chase, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Want the latest on the Predators from the people that cover them?
Heck of a year so far for the Predators. They've been so much fun to watch.
Join Robbie Stanley for Preds Insiders every Monday at 6.
I feel probably as good about this group of 6 on D.
Presented by Dr. Kelly Rice on Smashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Chilly this afternoon, only a high of 33 degrees. Overcast skies should give way to at least a few streaks of sunshine, but the sun doesn't return until tomorrow.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Victory Award-winning New Amsterdam Vodka knows all about it, but in life, it's not always so clear. So New Amsterdam Vodka believes that in life, you've got to find your own wins. You've got to overcome your fears, go all in, even when you've got nothing at all. Find your wins. And when you do, raise that glass of New Amsterdam Vodka in victory. You've earned it. New Amsterdam Spirits Company, Modesto, California.
Nashville's best deal of the week is the Mainstay Bar and Grill in East Nashville. The Mainstay is located at 501 Main Street and is your local spot to enjoy all your sports along with great food and friends. With over 25 TVs, 20 taps, and nightly events like trivia and much more, you can't go wrong. The Mainstay Bar and Grill. Good drinks, good people, good times. Head to thegamenashville.com/deals now to get half off a $30 gift card to the Mainstay while supplies last.
Do you love Smashville? Join us February 12th and 15th to watch your Nashville Predators take on the Winnipeg Jets and Washington Capitals. Live from Bridgestone Arena. Visit NashvillePredators.com/tickets to make sure you get a seat or two. Whether you're bringing your honey or getting ready for a night out with your pals, Smashville is the place you need to be. Secure your seat and bring your gold. That's NashvillePredators.com/tickets to make plans with the Preds. And we'll see you at Bridgestone Arena.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
So, what is Jared Stillman going to say this afternoon?
You got to play if you want to earn $14.6 million next year.
Oh, brother, here we go.
But I'm done on investing money in dudes that can't get on the field.
Tune in to Stillman and Company, weekday afternoons from 2 to 6.
This is some serious stuff right here.
Delivered by TriStar Moving on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Interact with Darren, Donick, and Chase. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Back here on Darren, Donick, and Chase, ESPN 1025 The Game. We're talking with Tim Hasselbeck. So, Tim, time is short, so I want to get your thoughts. Number one, you've got all this stuff going on about Aaron Rodgers, and the first thing I want to hear from you is, do you think there is a chance? How would you assess the chances that he actually goes back to Green Bay? Or do you think it's a given that he's going somewhere? We got to get Tim on.
I don't think it's a given that he's going somewhere. I don't think it's a given he's going somewhere. I do think I think that the timeline of events, based on things that he said and his conversations with Pat McAfee this year are such that he's basically said Devontae Adams is the best player he's ever played with, and I think those guys are close. And so I think that Devontae's situation in Green Bay, what they decide to do with him will have an impact on what Aaron decides to do. So let's just play this out. Let's say they franchise him, which Devontae clearly doesn't want. Devontae is going to need to have a good year in order to, end up getting the deal he wants, the following year. I think that actually would influence Aaron to come back to Green Bay. So, I think that Green Bay is the most likely scenario, and I think anything outside of Green Bay, there would have to be a ton of things that end up kind of, timeline-wise as well as, contracts across the board, what that team has or what they're doing with Aaron would have to be worked out.
Well, okay, so that's where I'm going. In this market, you still have the residual effect of Ryan Tannehill's last impression, which we know. You have some saying, okay, would it be worthy to make a run at a generational kind of player at Aaron Rodgers, even though he's 39, as you just laid out? There is a lot that would have to happen and a lot that you would have to do in other areas of your own roster. Is it worth pursuing from your end? If you're John Robinson, would you go down that road and even explore it? Or are you better suited looking at the existing list, which is long, of things that you have to do to address the current roster?
I think you deal with the current roster. Here's, and this, I've said this, going back to last summer, and I know it to be, an issue. What is the trade value for Aaron Rodgers? Because remember, he's still under contract. So
multiple first-round picks.
$44 million. How many?
2 to 3, maybe.
Well, Stafford essentially went for 3, didn't he?
Stafford went for 2 plus a second. Is that?
I think there might have been
and golf.
Right? And golf. Yeah. 2 plus golf. Is that fair to say?
So yeah. And so listen, that's for Matthew Stafford. Okay. Aaron Rodgers, I don't know the exact numbers, but like Aaron Rodgers, the last 4 years has thrown something like 140 touchdowns and like 15 picks.
Right. There's no comparison. Right? He's on a whole nother level.
Whole nother level. I like entirely different level. And so that was one of the issues last year. Last year was he had thrown 99 touchdowns and like 11 interceptions over the previous 3 seasons.
Okay.
So what's the, how do you assign the value to that? There isn't anybody that's even close. So you can look at what other quarterbacks have been traded for. Matthew Stafford never won a playoff game.
So 2 firsts and a third plus Goff. That's what we looked up. 2 firsts and a third plus Goff, who was more attractive younger than Tannehill is at this stage of his career, and a lower cap figure.
So the issue just ends up being you're talking I don't even think you pick up the phone without 3 first-round draft picks, right? I mean, because that's but it's it's probably got to be 4, and then you start to look at it and you're like, wait a second. Are we talking about 4 first-round draft picks for a guy that's going to be 40 soon? What are we doing? So to answer your question directly, no, I don't think that you do. I think that most guys, and I believe this to be the case with John Robinson, it's you have a plan with how you want to build your football team. And I think that's kind of been evidenced with the type of players that they've signed and brought in and all that. And so I think what you do is, you stick to your plan of that, and you build a good football team, and you coach them the right way, and you try to get guys that help other guys play well. And so, as attractive as it sounds, oh, hey, go get Aaron Rodgers. At what cost to your team and the future of your team?
Great points.
Great points indeed. Tim, good to talk to you. I'll just stop in and say hi because you're my best friend. But thanks for coming on. We'll do it again next week.
And we're up against the hard break at the top of the hour?
Yes,
pretty much.
Pretty
much, yeah.
That's exactly what it is. So
we got a new PD. I don't know if you knew this, Tim, but there's a new PD in town. He's the people's PD, but he drives a hard clock.
That's it.
Hey, listen, I didn't know if you knew this, but Chase started as an intern, and now he runs the station.
That is correct.
I don't know if you guys know that.
It's very, very true. Very, very true. Thanks, Timmy.
Good stuff, Tim.
All right, see you, fellas.
Tim Hasselbeck, ESPN NFL analyst, joins us usually on Wednesdays at noon. On Fridays this week, always good stuff with him in the NFL. Up next, Pick 6 time. I'm dreading the review. We'll do that on coming up next, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Joe Rexrode here to let you know FanDuel Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 56. And there's a way to celebrate. New customers, you can bet $5, you can win $280 in cash on either team to win when you use promo code Joe102 when registering for FanDuel Sportsbook. That's right. You get your winnings in cold hard cash. Cash, better than free bets. And there's no better place to bet Super Bowl 56 than FanDuel Sportsbook. You got all kinds of promotions for new and existing customers. Same game parlays, small bet, big wins, tons of Super Bowl props and more. Don't miss your chance. Turn $5 into $280 in cash. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Use promo code Joe102. Make every moment more this Super Bowl. Personally, I'll give you my take on this. I like the Rams. Now, granted, I've been betting against the Bengals the whole time, and I've been wrong. But I do like the Rams. Whatever you do, promo code Joe102. Get in on this exclusively on the FanDuel Sportsbook, and you must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. New users only, $10 first deposit required. Must wager in designated offer market. Max bonus $280. Bonus for Tennessee users fulfilled in site credit within 72 hours. Tennessee site credit expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line, 800-889-9789.
Your home value is way up. You can use that money now to pay off credit cards or remodel your house, or both. Hey, Willie Donner for Loan Pronto. Loan Pronto can convert that home equity into cash as little as 2 weeks from now with no cost to you and zero hassle. Mike and Joan in Brentwood called Loan Pronto and they did a Loan Pronto zero cost cash out refi. They got a check for $100,000. They used $50,000 to pay off all of their credit cards and a car loan. Use the other $50K to upgrade their master bath and kitchen. They locked in a new APR in the 2s and lowered their total monthly bills by hundreds of dollars. Hello? What are you waiting on? Call Loan Pronto now and convert your home value into cash. Put that money to good use. Do it now, and you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780 or lowpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. Not all loans apply.
Smokeville Smoke Shop has been serving Hendersonville and Metro Nashville since 2015 and is committed to providing high-quality, hands-on, and personable customer service. Stop into Smokeville Smoke Shops in Hendersonville, Gallatin, Hermitage, and Goodlettsville to try any of their wide selection of locally sourced products and selection of top nationwide brands, including vapes, hookah, hand-blown glass, detox systems, e-juices, kratom products, leaf wraps, and much more. Visit Smokeville Smoke Shops today.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, Nashville's exclusive home for the Nashville Predators.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell media station.
Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's time for Darren, Donick, and Chase. With hosts Darren McFarland, Willie Donick, and Chase McCabe. On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game. It's time to be a winner.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
Pick this week's games against the spread for all the bragging rights.
You want some bad enough, then you come get some.
Feeling extra confident?
I'm the one true King.
Make that game your top shelf for double points. This is Pick 6. Now on Darren, Donick, and Chase.
Final hour, Darren, Donick, and Chase here on ESPN 1025 The Game. On this Friday afternoon, let's turn things over to Elijah Campbell, who's standing by at our Hillside Medical Game Studio.
Man, after the week you all three had.
It was a bloodbath. It was a bloodbath.
I mean, you thought you caught some strays during you just made the list. This might be a little worse. All right. AFC Championship game. Chiefs, Bengals. Chiefs favored by 7.5. And if the game was only 2 quarters long, you guys
I felt
would
really
be in
good
shape.
about that at the half. I really did.
You'd been in great shape. Willie would have been in fantastic shape because he top shelf the
Yes,
Chiefs.
I did. Yes, I did.
However, the NFL has a thing where they play for 4 quarters.
Yes, they do.
Cincinnati took full advantage. Cincinnati won. Chase, who took the points, the only one coming away.
You
with
took
the
You
points.
took the Bengals?
I did.
Nice
Yeah.
job. Golly.
He took that 7.5, and it certainly paid off. Niners at Rams. The real winner here, not just the Rams for going to the Super Bowl, but the almighty hook. 3.5 points. Rams win by exactly 3 points. No points for anybody as it was a clean sweep for the Rams. However, Chase and Darren burn their top shelf pick, both by taking the Rams. Number 3.
Damn hook.
Most passing yards of all 4 quarterbacks participating in Championship Sunday. And Matt Stafford, throwing for 337, ended up taking that crown. A point for Willie. No points for Willie. A point for Chase, rather, as he took Stafford. I read that completely backwards. Willie said Joe Burrow. Darren said Patrick Mahomes. So Chase coming away with a point. Most combined receiving yards. A, Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill, or B, Deebo Samuel, Cooper Kupp. Easily Samuel and Kupp. Samuel had 70 yards, I believe, and Kupp had well over 140, I believe. They combined for over 200 easily. So that is points for Darren and Willie. And then more sacks. Chiefs or Rams? The Chiefs got to Joe Burrow 4 times. The Rams only got to Jimmy Garoppolo 2.
Wait, that is not correct, is it?
Yeah, 4 and 2.
Jimmy Garoppolo was not sacked in the game.
Oh, is he not?
He did. I don't think that's. I think Garoppolo was not sacked in the game. So I thought it was 1-0. The answer is the same.
The answer is the same. Yeah,
Garoppolo, but I thought it was 1-0 by my count. But either way. I was worried about. Well, at least in my mind, I was thinking it was 1-0, and Garoppolo threw the pick, which would have changed 2 things. Because he was almost in the grasp. You could have argued that was a sack.
If
he lets it go, then the ball gets tipped up in the air and intercepted, and if the guy runs it back for a touchdown, that changes the Rams line as well. So there were a couple of pick sixes on the line.
That were literally floated in the air.
Floating in the air, yes.
Yes. So the Chiefs get that. 1 point for Willie, no points for Chase or Darren. And then lastly, Kentucky at Kansas, Fog Allen Fieldhouse, Kentucky. Strolls in and with 27 points for Keon Brooks.
Yikes.
Wipes the floor with Kansas. Points for Darren and Chase. No points for Willie. So after a murderous week,
you
escaped
the way the
2.
thing was going. Yeah. On Sunday, going late into that Rams game, I'm thinking I could get nothing here.
Darren and Willie escape with 2 points last weekend, which makes our overall standings. Willie still with a comfortable lead over Darren, 96 points to 87. Chase, 1 point closer than he was last week with 74.
Oh, 74.
That's right.
I didn't know he was in the 70s yet.
He has broken
Awesome.
the 70s.
Yeah.
And then top shelves, Darren still the only one over 500 at 12 and 10. Willie at 9 and 12, and Chase at 10 and 12.
Yippee.
So I'm looking. The Chiefs sacked Burrow 4 times. Is that right? Is that sacks by? They were no. See, it's always confusing when you read it. The Bengals were sacked once.
Mahomes 4 times.
Yes.
Oh, I read
so
that.
So it was
backwards,
1 to
yes.
nothing. It was 1 to nothing.
Can you believe that?
So if Garoppolo gets sacked on the last play and just eats the ball to bring up a 4th and forever, rather than the desperation throw that gets intercepted, then it becomes 1-1. And then, of course, if the guy breaks 1 tackle, the Rams cover if he walks into the end zone there, as he almost did. So there was a lot on the line on that last play. This is why you don't gamble.
You're right. Yeah. Good call, Willie. I am illiterate. I'm looking at it now, and I was looking at sacks allowed.
That's why you do gamble. But
I was going to say, thanks for telling all of our sponsors don't gamble. But anyway.
Well, do you think people are going to listen to me? I don't think so. I think I don't think they have a problem with people participating.
No, they're not.
I don't call him Willie Stop Sign Donick.
Number 1.
Hey, who's winning this competition anyway? I'm a 2-time champion.
Oh, Elijah, that may have been
the
the best line ever. Maybe ever. You should just walk off. But don't, because then Chase will have to fill your spot, and he's had enough. All right, we've got Jim Blossom's tickets at Brooklyn Bowl on March 10th on the line. So Jim Blossom's at Brooklyn Bowl March 10th for this week's Pick 6 winner. Are we ready?
We're ready.
Let's roll.
The guy's already said number 1.
LSU at Vanderbilt. Congrats to Shane Foster. He will be an awesome evening at Memorial Gym. He will have his number retired, his jersey retired, I should say, and Vanderbilt is hosting LSU. That'll be at 5 o'clock tomorrow at Memorial Gym. That game can be watched on SEC Network and listened where, Chase?
On 93.3 Classic Hits.
Thank you. Vanderbilt getting 6.5. Willie.
By the way, Kevin Ingram doing a great job
Yes.
on the call. I'm really enjoying. I listened to some of the game the other night at Rupp with Tim Thompson. Good stuff. Look, this is the game for Vanderbilt basketball. This is the type of game that they haven't been able to get a W on.
I feel a top shelf coming. Whoo, I feel it. This is the build-up.
Well, honestly, they haven't won these games since Jerry Stackhouse has been the coach, and then, of course, the last year for Bryce Drew. They obviously didn't beat anybody anywhere. Anybody anywhere. Jerry Stackhouse has made small incremental improvements since he's been the coach. To me, this is the next step. This is the next step. They need this win. They've got to make Memorial Gym a place where good teams come in and can't get the W. It's been too easy a place to win, especially relative to what it used to be. They can change that. They can start the change tomorrow. They can take another step forward tomorrow. I'm taking the doors. I'm taking the doors. I will be there. I will be there. I want to see my man Shane get the jersey retired. It's a big one.
I'm fired up.
I'm ready.
Harkening back to the days when the Commodores beat Shaquille O'Neal and the LSU Tigers, Jamal Mashburn and the Kentucky Wildcats,
Let's go.
Robert Horry, Latrell Sprewell of Alabama. Did they come into Nashville and win? No.
Hell no.
All right.
It's time. Let's go, Doors.
Let's get this
Sorry,
moving because
sorry.
the
got a little
PD
carried. The PD
PD's
needs
here,
to, yeah.
and
We got to keep
approaching
things
break
moving.
time
Yes,
here.
we're on the clock here.
The PD.
Sorry. Got a little. My heartstrings,
police.
my emotions got involved there. Sorry.
Radio Police is in the room.
That's right.
I agree with you. I don't know if they're going. I'll take the points. I'll take the points.
I'll take Vandy in the points too.
Number 2.
Kentucky is in Tuscaloosa tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. That game can be watched on ESPN. It's a big one. Alabama getting 3.5. We'll also need the game total from the listeners. Willie.
Big one for Alabama. I really like Kentucky's defense, and I think they have the offensive firepower now that maybe they haven't had at times. They've got enough shooters. They're going to get every rebound. Alabama's not shooting it as well as they did before. I'm taking Kentucky. I got burned last week by Kentucky. I'm not going to have that happen 2 weeks in a row. If they lose, okay, but I'm not going to doubt Kentucky for a second straight Saturday.
I've had Kentucky every time and have been,
Oh, actually, now that I think about it, I took Tennessee too. So twice Kentucky has just stuck it to me.
I actually think though this has got Alabama written all over it. So I'm actually going to take Alabama and the points.
I will take Alabama and the points as well. As my friend Ricky says, home dogs bark louder.
Number 3.
Ricky's got the lingo. He's always got the sayings. I love it.
NHL All-Star Game tomorrow in Vegas. Question 3 is, UC Saros will be in net for the Central. Will UC Saros give up a goal? It's the All-Star Game. A, yes for a point. B, no for 2.
Wow.
It's the All-Star Game.
Right. It's 3-on-3.
Yeah.
3-on-3. Chase?
Yeah.
I'm going to say yes.
I just I'd love to say Juice, but I mean, who shuts him? I mean, you're just bound to. It's the All-Star Game, so I gotta go yes. I just don't see a shutout being pitched.
Now remember the format. It's 3-on-3. If you lose the first game, which is 10 minutes long,
you're done.
You're done. There are 2 goalies. I think Cam Talbot is the other goalie for the Central. So, in theory, you could only play 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah, true.
So that's your window if you can get this shutdown.
That is the best case.
That's the best case.
Yeah,
because you're going to give up shots, as we know. There's going to be huge scoring chances. There's going to be breakaways. There's going to be 2-on-1s. You know what? I'm feeling squirrely. I'm going to go for it.
He's going for 2.
I'm going to go for 2.
2-point team on. 2-point team on.
It's not a bad play. I wish I would have thought of and by the way, they haven't fared well. They have that. They've been one and done pretty quick in the All-Star game for years. No, I mean the Central. They've not done well.
No, they haven't.
Right. All right. Number 4. Along those same lines, will the captain Roman Josi have a point? Yes or no? Chase.
Yes.
I, too, will say yes. Just have a point.
Got to say yes. Got to say yes. He's going to have the puck a lot.
Number 5.
He's going to what?
He's going to have the puck a lot.
Yep. All right,
number 5. I would say yes.
The Pro Bowl this weekend on Sunday. Kevin Byard will be representing the Titans.
The Pro Bowl.
Jeffrey Simmons, Harold Landry will be representing the Titans on defense, the AFC. So the question is, Kevin Byard interception or Jeffrey Simmons, Harold Landry sack? All of these are in play. Can any of those happen for a yes and 2 points? Or no, none of those happen for a point? Kevin Byard pick, Jeffrey Simmons, Harold Landry sack. All you need is one of those to happen for yes for 2 points. No for a point. I'm going to start, and I'm going to say no. Chase.
Yes. I'll go for 2.
Chase going for 2.
Willie?
I say no, and I'm going to insert my yearly futile protest of a pick 6 on the Pro Bowl. The Pro Bowl, I'm not watching. I don't like the Pro Bowl.
You're not, but a lot of people will. So.
I know. I've come to grips with it, but I still futilely protest.
Okay. Finally.
Number 6.
We are airing this on these airwaves Sunday at 1:30. The inaugural Busch Clash at the L.A. Coliseum. Over, under, by the way, I watched the quick version of them building the track. Pretty cool. Over, under 15.5 cautions during the Busch Clash. Over, under 15.5.
15.5?
Yes. It's a half mile.
Is this on a betting site? Is that in the ballpark there?
No, this is just my expertise.
This is your expertise.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's 150 lap feature is what they're running there. So this is what we're talking about. Half mile, never run it before. Over under 15.5.
New track, not really like chewed up, not a lot of rubber on there.
Yep.
I'm going to go under.
He goes under.
What is the average amount of cautions in a race, generally?
Well, it depends on the track. This is going to be a short track.
At Bristol, which is a half mile, this is a quarter mile. I think I said this is a quarter mile.
You said a half mile. Yeah, it's not a half mile.
At Bristol, that's a half mile. The average is 9.5.
So 15.5.
Yep.
And it's smaller than Bristol.
Yep.
I'm going to go under.
Over Top Shelf.
Over Top Shelf. Ooh.
Oh, my.
Chase is trying to sucker us, Darren. He has done the math. He's talked to scientists.
He's
talked to physicists. He's talked to pit crews. He's got some inside info here.
Here's what you got to keep in mind. It's a small track. There's not really much of an apron. So, I mean, if a car gets spun around, they're going to throw
So you got to drive slower, man. Put the left turn signal on.
Yeah,
drive safely.
Tell NASCAR drivers, drive slower, guys. I'm going to go.
I feel like we just got suckered, Darren. We got suckered.
Well, he was. I do feel a little bit duped because he was pretty quick.
Yeah.
Pretty quick and top shelved it. So I was like, oh. Okay. And he's the one who came up with I asked him to come up with the question for that one. So It was his question. So I kind of feel like, yeah, there may be something to that. I'm going to go on the Kevin Byard, INT, or Simmons-Landry sack. I took no. I'm going to go on a top shelf of that. It's the Pro Bowl.
Ooh, okay. I'll take the Yossi point for a top shelf.
Point.
Yossi
Okay.
will get a point top shelf.
Okay. There you go. Those are the Pick 6 questions. Jump in there. You know the Gin Blossoms Brooklyn Bowl in March. That's the winner. Get 2 top shelves if you call in. You can still participate at thegamenashville.com, but you will only get the 1 top shelf. Willie, tell us about Lee Company.
Yes.
All right, let's talk Lee Company. 615-567-1000 is the number. Give them a call because they've got a lot of things that can help you with. All-Star break coming up this weekend. The Predators back in action next week. Wednesday night in Dallas. Saturday night back at home against Winnipeg. Lee Company's a big sponsor of our Nashville Predators coverage. They love the teams in this area. They want to be very supportive of them. And a lot of our listeners support Lee Company right back, the Donick household included. They have been doing the work on our house with the home maintenance plan for years now. The annual checkups of the heating, the cooling, the plumbing, the electric. Ask about it. Tell them you want to be a part of the home maintenance plan. You've been hearing what we've been saying here. It's a system that works for you. You pay a small monthly fee for the annual checkups. In exchange for that, you get discounts when the repairs get needed. And if you're a homeowner, it's going to happen over time. But know that you got reliable service ready to come help you when those days come. 615-567-1000 for Lee Company, or go online at leecompany.com.
A show that doesn't pull any punches.
And they win a playoff game and they get to the divisional round and he doesn't give up a sack the rest of the year. I don't give 2 poops. I'm done.
And has an opinion on everything.
That ref crew that was just terrible. Threw flags on almost every possession.
Jared Stillman hosts Stillman and Company.
Tough guy. He's a really tough guy.
Weekday afternoons from 2 to 6. Delivered by TriStar Moving on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Genesis Diamonds has everything you need to create the perfect Valentine's experience. A romantic gift, some fresh flowers, chocolates, and dinner out on us. That's right. Genesis has put together the ultimate Valentine's package. When you buy any piece of jewelry for just $99 or more, we'll give you a bouquet of flowers from Jenny's Flowers, some yummy chocolates, and a gift card for dinner at STK Steakhouse. At Genesis, love and romance are what we do best. So we've created this amazing one-stop offer so you can spend quality time with the one you love this Valentine's. We've pulled together some wonderful Valentine gift ideas as well. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, bands, affordable, timeless gifts she can enjoy for years. So bring the sparkle and the romance with one-stop shopping at Genesis. Spend just $99 or more with us and get the flowers, the chocolates, and a gift card for dinner as our gift. Happy Valentine's Day from Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. Limited quantity. See store for details.
Parman Tractor and Equipment is your one-stop tractor and equipment solution. And Middle Tennessee's Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer. Rent or purchase a track loader, mini excavator, large excavators for your job site, or something in between. Parman is now hiring and seeking qualified candidates for construction equipment truck drivers, service technicians, and more. Apply at parmantractor.com or call 615-865-7800. Come be an employee owner with the Parman team, your Middle Tennessee Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer.
Is your job leaving you just over broke and out of hope? Maybe this is your year to get into IT. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. You can start your new life in months, not years. Best of all, we've slashed tuition, and financial aid is available to those who qualify. Attend classes day or night, live online from the comfort of your home. Go to My Computer Career and fill out the free career evaluation. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
This is Phil Tomasino, and this is Smashville.
Cousins put it in front of the score. Tomasino lofts it in. 2-0 Nashville.
This is the flagship of the Nashville Predators Radio Network, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
If you've missed any of today's show, just search Darren, Donick, and Chase on Apple, Spotify, or on your favorite podcast platform.
Robbie Stanley was a tweeting machine last hour. He tweeted at us and asked if we think Aaron Rodgers is moving here for implants, which is a pretty good tweet by him. Back here on the DDC, our show is presented by Creation CBD. Products curated for life. Brandy on Twitter says, wow, after that call, this is going back to you just made the list, she felt like, Chase, you needed to have a cat sit in your lap, petting it while you're running the station, which is, of course, a scene out of Godfather.
Yeah, that's good.
Pretty good. All right, 615-737-1025. That is our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Get in on pick 6. If you do, by phone, you get 2 top shelves. Let's go to Adam to get things started. Welcome in.
Oh, I'm ready, man.
All right.
Fire it up.
Am I doing it?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay,
One of you.
LSU at Vandy. Vandy getting 6.5.
I think Vandy could get 20 and still be down, man. I'm going to go LSU. Sorry, Willie.
Kentucky at Alabama. Alabama getting 3.5. Also need the game total.
I'm going to go Kentucky 150.
NHL All-Star Game. Will Jussi Saros give up a goal? Yes for a point, no for 2 points.
Yes, he will.
Will Roman Josi have a point? Yes or no?
Yes, he will.
Kevin Byard interception or Simmons Landry sack? Yes, 2 points, no, 1 point.
I don't think they sack each other at the Pro Bowl anymore, so I'm gonna go yes just because Byard's awesome and they'll throw it a lot. So I'll go yes.
And then over/under 15.5 cautions during the Busch Clash.
Let's go over. And I've never let I've let Chase do it, but I've never let Willie pick my top shelf. So if he wants to do it, we'll double top shelf on Willie.
Oh, you get a double top.
Well, why don't you? You're confident about LSU, so why don't you take LSU?
There it is.
Oh my God! So yeah, so I'll let you double top shelf against your boys, man. That's good.
Do it. Let's see what happens.
That's good.
All right, guys.
All right, thanks, Adam.
I couldn't find any props for the Pro Bowl, which I thought was weird.
I don't know.
Do they sack anymore?
Not really.
Do they?
I mean,
maybe. Obviously, I felt like they don't, or I wouldn't have, doubled the points.
All-Star games in general, I'm just kind of like, whatever. That's just kind of how I feel at this point.
You mean everything?
Yeah.
All sports?
I just don't get into them. I mean, I know people will watch because it's the only thing on. I mean, I'll be watching the Busch Clash, but I just think that they're just kind of whatever at this point. I mean, it's a great honor for the players, but I just maybe that's just me.
I wonder why we kind of all feel that way. Like, what could they do? Like, why don't we enjoy? I think all sports struggle with their all-star events. Like, none of them are. I mean, the Pro Bowl is, despite what Willie says, and I know his disdain for the Pro Bowl, I mean, it is the most watched one by far, and it's probably the most laughable one. Like, that just tells you the power of the NFL. It's the most laughable one. Although, the NBA one's not much better. And the NHL is tried. They're these rules that started when they came here, they're trying to make, because it was laughable before that, right? Before they changed it to the 3-on-3 format. I mean, you'd have games in what was the final, 18-16. It was just silly. But what could they do? I mean, you're supposedly putting the best players in your sport against each other. Why wouldn't that be a big hit? Yet I feel like all we do is complain about them.
I don't know. I mean, for me, it's just not. I just don't get entertained because I think part of it, and maybe this is why some people feel this way. I know it's not real. Like, I know it's not a real game, which is funny coming from me because I like pro wrestling. But I know that the game doesn't matter, the end result. They're just going out and having fun. And so, therefore, I'm just like, okay. I won't watch it. So
it's just not a good product. I mean, it is what it is. But I wouldn't watch it, even if it was the only sporting event on. It's just I'd find something else to watch. I'd binge on a show or something.
Is it because the money is too great these days that they're not willing to try to get hurt?
Of course,
they don't want to get hurt.
Of course, I don't blame them.
Yeah, well,
it's tough to play a football game without getting people hurt. A football game for real. So it can't be the real thing.
Well, I mean, they don't hit in hockey. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, none of them
that's
do
not
it.
the real thing either. That's why 3-on-3 is a smart move by the NHL because it's better because there's generally not hitting in 3-on-3. It doesn't mean that somebody couldn't pull a muscle, but you lower greatly the chances of injury if you don't hit, and 3-on-3 isn't really conducive to hitting because if you try to hit somebody, you're going to give up a 2-on-1 going the other way. So the strategy in 3-on-3 is quite different than 5-on-5, so it works a lot better. Still not the real thing, but it's better.
It looks like Jeremy Fowler, who was putting out there about Tim Kelly, it looks like I'm starting to see more and more that it seems like the Titans are indeed adding Tim Kelly to their staff. I don't know what role. He was the OC in Houston. We know he's not going to be the Is this the new Jim Schwartz move? Is this the offensive advisor role? I don't know.
I don't know. I did see on Twitter Buck Rising of A to Z Sports reporting that it is done. It is confirmed, and he's joining the staff. So that's according to him.
Yeah. So basically, just Jeremy Fowler's the one who, his sources were right. And, I mean, look, if Jeremy Fowler's, he's getting it from a good place. So looks like Tim Kelly will be added to the offensive staff for the Titans. The rest of you, Elijah, will get your – let's get one more, and then I'll tell you about Krayshion. No, we'll get Bryce on the other side. And the rest of you will also get off air. You'll be locked in. You can go to thegamenashville.com and play along with us. But right now I'm going to talk to you about Krayshion CBD. You hear me talk about them every day because they present our show, and we appreciate that. And if you have aches and pains on your body like me and you're looking for a solution, well, I've got it. It's Krayshion CBD. Krayshion means healing, and that right there says a lot. Krayshion is locally and organically sourced CBD products from right here in Middle Tennessee, from seed to final sell. So if it's because you're really active and you've got aches and pains, or you're just getting older and you've got aches and pains, or your body's just is acting up or breaking down, that's the reason you've got aches and pains. There's a lot of reasons why you may be experiencing aches and pains. Well, you need to check out Krayshion CBD because not only can they help you, they can help your pets too. Maybe you've got a pet or pets that have anxiety when you guys leave the house and they just don't handle that very well. Or thunderstorms, bad weather. Well, they've got products that will calm them down. If you've got a pet or pets that have a medical issue, like our female German Shepherd that has had seizures for years and lots of them, well, it has been a life changer for her and for us. The pet tincture, ever since she's been on it since August, they've gone away. We didn't even think that was possible. We've never experienced it since she started having seizures. No matter how many pills, no matter how many vet visits, they've never gone away. We've put her on the pet tincture, they've gone away, other than the 5 days when we ran out and she started having seizures. Back on the pet tincture, they've all gone away. Do me a favor. When you check out at CrayshionCompany.com, type in that code DDC25. That'll get you 25% off your order. DDC25. Darren Donick Chase 25 at CrayshionCompany.com. Put that in there. Get 25% off your checkout order. Krayshion CBD, curated for life.
Tune in every Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. for Nashville's own Jason Fitz with Jarrett Stillman and Company. Fitz started his sports talk career right here on 102.5 The Game, and now he anchors shows for ESPN. Jason Fitz is brought to you by Blood Assurance. Give blood. Give local. Give life. Nothing makes one feel better than the ability to give to someone in need. You have the power to give the most important gift of all, the gift of life, with a donation of your blood. Supplies are desperately low in our area, and your help is needed. Blood Assurance is a nonprofit community blood center that supplies our Middle Tennessee area hospitals. Please find it in your heart to donate. Be someone's hero today. Go to bloodassurance.org to find a location or blood drive near you. That's bloodassurance.org. Give blood, give local, save lives with Blood Assurance.
The IRS is ramping up collection, and if you owe back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, listen carefully. Before it's too late, check your eligibility for the Fresh Start program still offered by the IRS to reduce or even eliminate your tax problems. Call our special hotline number now and find out in minutes if you qualify for these life-changing debt reduction programs. Business or personal, if you're in a payment plan with no end in sight, have unfiled tax returns, under audit, have a wage or bank levy, or finally just want to know your options, call the experts at Republic Tax Relief and stop collections immediately. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau with a 5-star rating from Yelp, this veteran-owned company has the fight you need to take on the IRS. Don't go at it alone. Call their hotline number now, 800-819-1120. That's 800-819-1120. Find out if you qualify today. Call 800-819-1120 or go to republictaxrelief.com.
Hey, it's Jared from my official sportsbook app, the FanDuel Sportsbook app. FanDuel Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 56. To celebrate, new customers can bet $5 to win $280 in cash in either team to win with the promo code JGM when you register. That's right, you'll get your winnings in cold hard cash because we know cash is always better than free bets. The Rams playing at home has to look very appetizing. There's no better place to bet Super Bowl 56 than on FanDuel Sportsbook. Promotions for new and existing customers, and they got same-game parlays where you can combine small bets for bigger wins. Don't miss your chance to turn $5 into $280 cash. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and use the promo code JGM to make every moment more for the Super Bowl. Again, that's promo code JGM. 21 and older in present Tennessee. New users only $10 first deposit required. Must wager and designated offer market max bonus $280. Bonus for Tennessee users fulfilled in site credit within 72 hours. Since the site credit expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889-9789.
This is Stan Harrison, CEO of Apple Collision Centers. We understand that no one likes to deal with auto body repair and the inconvenience it becomes in your day-to-day life. I want to personally invite you to stop by and let our experienced staff see how we can help you make your vehicle look good as new. Apple Collision Center has 3 convenient locations, Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin, ready to serve you. Come by and see us or visit us online at applecollisioncenters.com.
Saturday night.
Another 3 by Los Angeles.
It's a showdown in the NBA.
Robinson ties the game.
As the Knicks head to LA to take on the Lakers. Coverage begins at 7
on ESPN
94.9 and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, this is David Price. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
What can they do to get their event where they're supposed to put their best athletes on display and have you excited about it? That's what we were just talking about heading to the last break. Bryce wants to weigh in on that. He's on our phone line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Hey, guys. Yeah, I could care less for the All-Star game myself. That's just my opinion. I prefer significance. Like he was saying, it's not really a true game. I would, like when baseball did the if you win, you get the home field for the World Series, at least there's something behind it to compete for. So it's an actual fun event. It's nice to see this, especially basketball. It's nice to see the stars out of their normal element and having fun and laughing, and it's nice. But I'm not a fan for the All-Star games either. I'll hang up and listen.
Okay.
I mean, you ask what the alternative is. The alternative is just don't play a game and just name a team. Like, I'd be perfectly fine with that.
But I love the idea of the showcase in a city, gather everybody from around the league. There's a lot of benefits.
And it was
for
awesome
that.
When the
And
NHL All-Star game was here. It was fantastic.
It was a tremendous event. And the baseball, I've always maintained, you can play a baseball game and play hard and not really worry about guys getting hurt.
Right.
Especially the way they do the pitchers now, where you're going to pitch one inning. You can play a good baseball game. So that should be an advantage that baseball has, but without having to do the winner gets the All-Star, winner gets the home field, whatever. The other sports have a challenge with that. Basketball, I think, could be a better game, more like a real game. They used to play a real game. I grew up watching them. There were some great All-Star games that they played.
The one a few years ago with the new scoring system was kind of cool.
See, in last year, it didn't end up being that way because it was a blowout. So, I mean, the scoring system didn't have the drama, but the scoring system they had in effect for the NBA All-Star game is going to make for a lot more competitiveness, especially in the last little bit.
Like the skills competition,
that's fun.
I like the skills. The skills, I could, if you just did a skills competition, I'd be okay with that too, because it's, they're trying to win. I mean, I remember here, Shea Weber wanted that. Like, he wanted that bad. So, like, that I totally get. But, with being a racing fan like I am, the All-Star race, when I was growing up and into the mid-2000s, the reason it was so exciting and fun and you tuned in is because that's when they had special paint schemes. So the cars all look different. Now they do that pretty much every week because they all have multiple sponsors, and so they've tried different formats with that.
It's been stale for years.
Well, at least they're moving it around.
Well, geez, someone. Gosh.
Well,
I only said that for how long, and they finally woke up and, let's leave Charlotte. Wow.
But they're going.
Guys are brilliant.
They're going back-to-back years in Texas, which I'm not thrilled with.
But I mean, that's a
COVID thing. But
I was going to say, think about what you said, though. I mean, okay, so we've had an incredible All-Star event here for hockey, and what would we like to see here? A NASCAR All-Star event. So you're kind of cutting off your nose if you say that.
Well, I mean, the fact that they are at least moving around to different tracks and, they're racing. I mean, they're racing hard because they don't care about tearing up the car. It's not for points, something like that. I mean, at least it does get exciting. But, if they did the All-Star race out at the fairgrounds or this, I'd rather see it at the fairgrounds probably than the super speedway. I like the race at the super speedway as is. Then, okay, that'd be fun. You'd pack it. But I'm just being honest on my feeling of All-Star games as a whole.
Let's go to Nate on our phone line driven by Wilson County Hyundai.com. What's up?
Hey, guys. Y'all basically answered my skills competition question, but I will say this. I am excited to watch the skills competition tonight for the NHL because it's going to be really different and something we've never seen before. But the only thing that I kind of have a problem with it is that it seems like multiple groups of players are going to just be kind of spread out throughout Vegas. One's going to be on the Strip doing the blackjack thing. One's going to be on the Bellagio fountains trying to shoot into the net. And then I think there are a couple events inside the arena, the fastest skater and
hardest shot.
Hardest shot, block shots. So you're not going to have all the players, all the competitors hanging out in the arena on the ice or on the bench, cheering on fellow teammates, friends, enemies, just having a good time. It's kind of going to be a little spread out. That's my only really problem with it. But other than that, I'm excited to see it.
Okay, thanks for the call.
Curious. I'll be watching tonight. See how they try to pull that off.
Yeah.
Pluses and minuses, but you got to give them credit for trying stuff.
So, by the way, if you're wondering, the All-Star game is tomorrow afternoon in the evening. So it's skills is tonight. I know a lot of people think, what? It's Saturday and Sunday. No, it's tonight and tomorrow. So just keep that in mind.
On ESPN.
On ESPN, that's right. They have been running the ads, trying to let people know that they are carrying that. Adam Kaplan, who we just had on the show recently, just tweeted out it's his understanding that the role of Tim Kelly would be as general offensive assistant.
So the Jim Schwartz of the offense.
He said those typically carry some. He said, I'm not sure of the exact title, what they'll call it, but he said those typically carry something like senior offensive assistant or something like that.
Yeah.
Good.
Like wasn't Tom Moore that when he, was long time
He's been
OC,
that for a couple.
He's been
a couple
here.
teams.
He was here
at one time. He was, yeah.
In kind of that same role.
Yep. He's done that for several teams for sure.
So this is not a new position that nobody else uses. This is something that people have used from time to time.
Yep, no doubt, including the Titans. All right, we'll come back and get the best shots of the week. Call it a week. But first, Willie, you're going to tell everybody about Loan Pronto.
All right, let's talk Loan Pronto. Loan Pronto has got the system in place ready to help you take advantage of what is out there financially. Your home's value is way up these days. You're in a great position to have great financial freedom. You can use the money in your home's equity to pay off credit cards or remodel your house or both. Just call Loan Pronto and explore this option. Loan Pronto can convert that home's equity into cash in as little as 2 weeks with no cost to you, zero hassle. It's all digital. This is a streamlined system that is much different than it was in years past. Lots of folks are taking advantage. Here's an example. A local couple called Loan Pronto. They did a Loan Pronto zero-cost cash refi for $100,000. They used $50,000 to pay off all of their existing credit card bills plus a car loan bill. Then they took the other $50K to upgrade their master bath and kitchen. And that is reinvesting in your home. That's a smart move. They locked in a new APR in the 2s, so they lowered their total monthly payment by hundreds of dollars. So take advantage of this and really put yourself in a better financial position. Do it now, and you can even skip your next 2 house payments from Loan Pronto, 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780, or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. Not all loans apply.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Chilly this afternoon, only a high of 33 degrees. Overcast skies should give way to at least a few streaks of sunshine, but the sun doesn't return until tomorrow.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Attorney Joe Cordell. New school, new job, new home. Change is hard and can leave you feeling isolated. And divorce delivers one of life's hardest blows. The relationships you counted on are suddenly gone. But you don't have to walk through this alone. For more than 30 years, Cordell & Cordell has guided men through the challenges of divorce. You're not alone. Call Cordell & Cordell.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Nashville area attorneys. 810 Crescent Center Drive, Suite 160, Franklin, Tennessee, 37067.
Cutting the price of your wireless bill feels good, really good. Actually, it feels great. You should try it out. So cut your bill by switching to Straight Talk Wireless, now offering our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with 5 gigabytes of hotspot and nationwide 5G on America's largest, most dependable networks. The $45 Silver Unlimited plan from Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
A month equals 30 days. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you 24/7, with supplies and solutions for every industry, and access to product specialists ready to help. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Inside knowledge on the Titans.
Todd Downey's got his notepad out right now, just writing things down.
Inside knowledge on the Predators.
They can go right into the forecheck, and boom, you get a beautiful goal from Colton Sissons.
And then there's a team in Knoxville.
How excited should Tennessee fans be by what they've seen from Josh Heupel in year one?
Wake up and hang out with Robbie and Rex Road. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10. Brought to you by Little Guys Movers on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and The Game Nashville. Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Interact with Darren, Donick, and Chase. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Thank you, Dave. We're rounding third and heading home. It's time to get in our best shots of the week. In fact, more times than not, it doesn't work out. But now we've got this one example, and now everybody thinks, oh my gosh, if you go just, who cares about the draft? It's about now. It'll all work out, and you'll get the Super Bowl, and it doesn't matter. Yeah, if that plays out that way, you're right, it doesn't. If the Rams win the Super Bowl in 4 years from now or 3 years from now, they suck, nobody cares. Nobody will care in that market, right?
Yeah.
If they win the Super Bowl in 12 days, no one will care. Everybody will say, great move. Mm-hmm. In 4 years, if they're picking in the top 10, no one will care.
It's arrogance. That's all it is. It's arrogance. We on instead of taking the extra point, no, we gonna score. Cincinnati, they're not that good. Their defensive line is not that good. Their defense isn't that good. We gonna score. We gonna get this 2 points. You didn't get it. Oh, 4th and 1. We gonna get it. Even though you should have took the field goal, we gonna get it. And Cincinnati's not better than us. We gonna get it. The arrogance, and you didn't get it. Kansas City, 3 seconds. 5. What was it? 6 seconds.
How arrogant are you that you're not willing to go into the half up 24
exactly.
to 10,
That's what I'm saying.
And you get the ball to start the second half?
It's the arrogance of, well, if we don't get it now, we'll make it up some other down or some other drive. That's what the arrogance is.
Linda Cohn.
Juice, who, of course, is such a unique goalie in his style. What are you seeing there? What do you enjoy about it?
I love him because he's a smaller goalie, and he's saying, hey, the smaller goalie, he'll never call himself small. He's bigger than life, right? But he looks large in the net, and it's because of his quickness, his flexibility, and his anticipation. And he didn't use his size to his disadvantage. He's learned how to use his size to his advantage. And in this day of big goalies, the best obviously is Andre Vasilevsky of the Tampa Bay Lightning, big guy. But here's UC Soros in the Vezina conversation, more than, with a couple other guys, obviously, Igor Shesterkin, another one with the Rangers, who also has had an amazing season, Vezina worthy, just like UC Soros. So that's what I marvel about him, because he is smaller in stature and size than the average goaltender in the National Hockey League now. He has proven there is still a spot and you can still be elite, and you just don't have to be 6'5".
Joel Corey.
If you traded him before June 2nd, you're going to have $28.4 million in dead money, which is a salary cap charge for a player no longer on the roster. His $29 million base salary is already fully guaranteed. So if you wanted to bring in a Russell Wilson, who'd have to waive his no-trade clause, or an Aaron Rodgers, who apparently is buying land in Williamson County, in Franklin, you'd have to have the other team want Tannehill back in return at that number. And then even if you brought those guys in initially, you need enough cap space to accommodate their salaries. It's $24 million for Wilson, and it's just in the cap space you need for Aaron Rodgers is basically $27.5. So if you're just doing the simple math on that, you're losing 15.3 cap space to add Rodgers.
Some poster named Slice Bread, a site called Bro Bible. I'm sorry, a message board, Bro Bible, and it gets this much traction. Right. Where an SEC coach who signed a $75 million guaranteed contract just gets a flamethrower out and goes nuts at a press conference.
Yeah, and talks about irony. The irony here of a guy that signed one of the richest contracts in history, $75 million, and he's bitching and moaning about them calling him out for $30 million for NIL deals with Texas A&M.
Bro Bible.
From Bro.
Well, I guess they've got their fan base is so big. Maybe they're not all traveling. Maybe they're just implants wherever they are, that they've got
implants.
Implants. Did I just say implants?
mean, hey, there you go.
Darren's brain was too far into Southern California.
They've all been augmentated in all these markets.
You're in the L.A. market, man.
Let me tell you about Cool Springs, NT. My friends over there. I just realized that I was getting ready. It hit me the minute you said that. Well, I was like, I just said implants, didn't I? Whoops. Oh, good stuff. Been a good week of shows.
Freudian slip, maybe?
It works. Hey, if it creates fun on the show and for everybody, and if everybody can laugh at me, then okay. Good. Good shows. You didn't get a chance to weigh in on an earlier conversation. We had John Glennon on, and we talked about it for a while. The Derrick Henry factor of, something we're going to bring up a lot this offseason, and everybody's going to want to know going into next season, what he's going to be. Is there a chance that he never returns to what we've been accustomed to the last 2.5 seasons? Is he on the decline? Is he not going to be the same from the injury? Did that season, the 2,000-yard season, what he basically had 400 touches that season. Is that going to do what it's done to a lot of running backs over the years? Basically start them going the wrong direction in their career or their production. What do you think?
I mean, I think if you're just, looking at, Mother Nature running its course, he's going to decline, at some point. The problem is it's hard to, really see with him where it is. But I look at it like this. You have an opportunity to go ahead and bring back Deontay Foreman as the second back, and you're doing that because he earned a spot. They never should have cut him in the first place when they let him go. He comes back, and he's your second back, and if you kind of get the feeling that maybe Derrick's not what he was, then you have two backs.
So you're hedging your bets. You have to – so your hope – obviously everybody hopes – that Derrick Henry will still be Derrick Henry, but you're saying you have to plan for him not to be.
Well, I'm not
because it might cost you a little extra to bring back.
And that's fine, but you need a second back, don't you?
Yes,
right.
But they haven't really put any real investment in one in quite some time.
Well, that's not true. They drafted a guy in the third round or whatever it was.
Different kind of investment, but yes, with the draft pick they did.
He can't stay healthy, so you move on from him. Move on from him, bring back Foreman, whatever. As long as it's within reason, price-wise, you bring back Foreman.
Well, what's within reason?
That's the question.
Throw out a number.
Because they don't have a lot of extra cap space. They don't have any extra cap space.
What did they pay Deion Lewis? Was that 5 per?
Yeah, that was 5 per.
There's no way they're going that high.
I would do 3.
You do 3?
3?
Yeah.
That would be way more.
Way more.
2.5 or 3.
I said
that
earlier
could cost you another player.
$2 million or less. $2 million or less.
I mean, if you can get him for $2 million or less, then
he was on the street in the middle of the season. He wasn't even playing. He was at home.
Right.
So you think now he's earned $3 million a year for half of a season?
You're right. I'll 2.
See, right. That's the thing. You have to try to get that number down as much as you can, but that's where it comes back to the question. How confident are you that Derrick Henry could have a Derrick Henry season next year?
Well, he doesn't even have to have a Derrick Henry season. He can be like what if he comes back and he's like the rest of the running backs in the league?
Then he's overpaid. Like you're paying him $15 million.
Okay, well you knew that was a risk when you signed that contract.
But this is where again it comes